Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the Strat Football Show. This is the SSFA preview show, or the SSFA preview show, as we like to say when we just pronounce the league name. I'm joined as always with Tom Cooke, I'm joined by Tom Cooke. That doesn't sound right to me for some reason.
I'm joined.
Tom,
I'm joined as always by Tom.
Oh, I forgot the as always part. That's what it is. Okay, very good, Tom. Let's talk about SSFA. Who do you like? Who do you not like? You want to go by team and try to talk about what you expect for each team for the season?
Yeah, well, we're going to go alphabetically here because we're doing this a little impromptu. Obviously, we should mention that the defending champions are the Houston Texans, who defeated, I don't remember who did they beat in the Super Bowl.
I will find out. Hold on.
It was another team that was it was sort of, there was a bunch. Oh, it might have been Kendall, who's no longer in the league. Yes.
Yeah, that sounds exactly right.
Kendall.
Yes.
Kendall had to leave the league, a little busy. He was in the league for a long time. Great guy. Hopefully one day he'll be back. But SSFA, for those who don't know, it is the spring equivalent of SOMIFA. It's run by NFL Ed. It's been around 7 or 8 years. Dennis and I are charter members. It's probably the league where I have the most successful team of all of my teams in the minor leagues, because I drafted it from scratch, didn't get someone else's leftovers. I have not had a losing season. I've made the playoffs a bunch of times. I've not had a losing season. I've only missed the playoffs once, and I won the championship once. I've got a pretty good team this year. Dennis, you have a SSFA championship, don't you?
I do, yes. Helped by Frank Gore, who busted a long run against NFL Ed on an unexpected play in my semifinal game, which got me to the finals, and then I was able to bring home the crown. You always have those games you look back and you say, I almost lost that game. Like, I think in SOMIFA last year I won the title, but Dan Morin nearly beat me. He was driving. I was up by 3. He was driving down for the possible go-ahead touchdown, and he threw a flat pass, empty zone, guessed right, interception on like a 2-4 split, and that saved the game for me. And then after that, I rolled to the championship. But
I believe he commented on that in his SOMIFA draft preview today.
Right, and that reminded me of that.
So let's start out with
all these leagues. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, all right, so let's get started here with the Arizona Cardinals. Now, we're not looking at team schedule. We're just looking at teams team by team and seeing how they're doing. Arizona is hold on, I've got all my stuff squared away here. Arizona, should I do people want to see our faces, or do they want to see what we're looking at? What do you think? Should I do a screen share thing?
Yeah, why don't you do a screen share, and then we can both comment on your screen share. Do a screen share and lock it in so that when I talk, it doesn't cut to me.
I got you. All right, let's see. This is advanced broadcasting technology that we're using. And I'm so glad that I know how to screen share now. And
this is very nice.
There we go. All right, so Arizona is coached by Kurt. I think he might have won an SSFA championship, one of the very first ones. I don't think his team has been too good lately. But this is a team that struggled a lot. They've been drafting, I think, near the top of the pack. As a matter of fact, I have the drafts here. I guess not this year. I guess he did okay last year. Drafting 14th, took Eric Reed. He's got RG3 at quarterback. I'm pretty sure this team's been struggling. He's got RG3 at quarterback. You see he's got he's got 3 6s in the offensive line, not a lot of pass blocking. Stephen Ridley, Roy Halou as your running backs, not too exciting there. Tequan Underwood, Jared Boykin, the receivers, Rob Hausler. So that's not an offense that looks like it's going to do a lot. 3-4 defense. Maybe we will get through the whole league. We're going to do this as a part 1, but we might get through the whole league. We'll see how it goes. 3-4 defense going 5-5-4 on the defensive line. Going 5-0-4-5 at linebacker. 4-4-4-5 in the secondary. Boy, I just don't see this team as really a playoff caliber team. they're not awful. RG3's card is okay. Stephen Ridley's always a guy you can do well with because people don't just run against him. He's got some good run blocking. I think Kalu might be a decent backup, but the receiving target's not that great, and RG3 is limited, and the running game lacks explosiveness. That secondary 4-4-4 in the short pass, that's going to be a problem. It means you have to constantly pay attention to that, which allows people to run probably a little bit at will. So I think this team's going to struggle. I don't think they'll be awful. I see them maybe winning, maybe going 7-9, maybe 6-10. I don't know. What do you think, Dennis?
Okay, well, just to finish up your earlier question about past championships, the SSFA has had a different champion every single year. So Ed's won, John Madden's won, I've won, you've won. Kurt did in fact win with his Arizona Cardinals. Jay has won, Jay Villing, and Brad Lane Bradley Miller was the winner last year. So those 7 different seasons, 7 different championships, and now we can go back. But as far as what you brought up about Arizona, yeah, that looks like they're going to have a difficult time. But sometimes when after you win a championship and you draft at the bottom of the league after several good seasons, you're going to have a setback and injuries and some other other things haven't gone Kurt's way, but his team is still decent. It's not going to probably push for a playoff spot, but if Robert Griffin III bounces back and he picks up a couple key pieces, I could see him bouncing back to the playoffs next year. I don't see the playoffs for him. I see like a 6-10 season.
All right, so we're in agreement on the Arizona Cardinals. Now let's move on to the Atlanta Falcons. Who's the coach of the Falcons?
The Falcons are coached by Mick, Red Wing Mick on the forum, and
Mick Jagger.
Red Wing Mick 1 is his aim name.
Yeah,
no, his Nick. His last name is not Jagger, but I can't remember off the top of my head at the moment.
We came into Autumn Wind together this year. It might be Mick Vaughn. I don't know, but anyway, we came into Autumn Wind together. We came into Autumn Wind together this year as in a 4-team dispersal draft. He's a good guy, which we choked around and chatted a lot in the build-up to that. Let's look at his SSFA Atlanta Falcons. Is this his first year as an SSFA coach? We have some new coaches in SSFA, don't we? Or is that more? I know Samson, we have a lot of new coaches.
He joined this year. He January 10th, he expressed interest in joining the league, and then he took over Tennessee, which was John Madden's old team, and renamed it to Atlanta.
It's funny. There's a couple of guys I've noticed who I don't know if who maybe they're new to online Strat football, who are suddenly popping up in all these leagues. That guy, Joe St. Louis Rams fan or whatever his name is, I forget. Well, I'm sure.
Joe Golden. His name is Joe Golden, and he's actually been playing a long time, but he is focused on the stock leagues. So I'm in USFFL with him and SSRFL, the retro stock league. So I know he's been around for a while, but he is now getting into the draft leagues.
Well, he's an
expanding his draft leagues.
He's an IFL franchise, and I drafted for him in Solmesville, off of his list. And I bet you he's in SSFA too. Is he in SSFA now? If he's not, I bet he's on the waiting list or something. Because he's not. Okay, but it seemed like there's a couple of guys. Mick might be one of these guys. Stanley, a couple of guys suddenly out of nowhere popping up like in all the draft leagues, which is good. We need new blood, so it's always good to have guys.
Yeah, once you get in one of Ed's leagues and you see how well it's run, you enjoy it. It's really hard to stop yourself from joining another league.
Yeah, I think Ed's leagues are the easiest to participate in as a general member because he just does so much. It makes it so easy for you to be in the league, if you know what I mean. And and also I think once you start getting a taste for the drafting and playing and stuff like that, it's easy to see guys joining numerous leagues.
And you're doing the work. You're doing the research. Once you do the research for one modern league, You can join another modern league and just use your same notes and draft away. It's not that difficult.
Exactly. That's one of the reasons I actually gave up my IFL franchise teams. I'm so into the modern game now, and I like it. Helps me follow the modern NFL better. And I gave up my IFL franchise teams. That's a retro continuous keeper league that Tim Beaulieu runs, and I added like another modern keeper team in the spring, which is SSFA. And of course, I just finished my first year in AW, and of course, I'm participating in Battle Royale, which is drafting starting this Thursday night. That's Dennis's league, an interesting format. We have a little time to bullshit here, so it's okay to say these things. Battle Royale is a league that Dennis runs, and basically what they do is they take a card set. Right now, they're using the current modern card set, to a 2013 set, right, and the most recent one. And they have a draft. Okay, we've got 16 coaches in this league this year. It's a 1-year draft. It's not a keeper at all. And what it is when you are on the clock, you draft one unit from one of these stock teams. So you could draft the Saints quarterbacks, or the Vikings running backs, or the San Francisco 49ers linebackers. Whatever unit you want to draft, and you draft that. And then so the draft is only about 10 or 11 rounds, maybe 12 rounds long, I forget, until you have assembled a team, right? You're drafting a group of quarterbacks, you draft a group of running backs, you draft a group of receivers, blah, blah, blah. So in that manner, you put together a team quickly, and they use what I call the double counting, team defensive system, that a lot of draft leagues use, where you're going to get a defense that's poor, average, good, or excellent, or what have you, based upon the number of points that you have in your back seven or your front seven. So there's a lot that goes into your draft strategy, and some of the very best coaches in the online community play in these Battle Royale leagues that Dennis runs, and we do play for money. $50 entry fee, which is pretty cool. Adds a little something to it. We did the USFL in the summer last year. That was great, and I'm looking forward to this year's draft. I've got the number 8 slot overall. A couple of guys drafted early, so Peyton Manning, the Broncos quarterbacks, and Drew Brees, the Saints quarterbacks, have gone off the board already. And I've got two picks I'd really like to get at number 8 overall, but I can't reveal those now because I don't want to jinx myself. So
I'm not sure if
know by Thursday night.
I'm not sure if you can do this, but can you share I shared my screen. Can you switch control to me, like double click on my name?
All right, let's see if I can do this.
Just you don't have to do anything except double click on me, on Dennis.
All right, just double clicked on Dennis. There we go.
Okay, so this is last year's draft. Round 1, the Minnesota halfbacks, which came with Percy Harvin and Adrian Peterson. Then Buffalo halfbacks, which you had Spiller and Fred Jackson. Then somebody went defense, and they picked the San Francisco linebackers. Then the Seattle halfbacks, Green Bay quarterbacks, New York Giants halfbacks. So you get an idea of how it works. Okay, go ahead and take control back.
Yeah, interesting to me that there was one. Interesting to me. Look, it's Strat. So look, it's all quarterbacks and halfbacks except for the one defensive pick in the top 11, which makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, that was a key unit because last year the 49ers had 3 6s and a 5 on their linebackers, or maybe they had 4 6s. They had 4 6s. So you were able to improve your pass defense and your run defense by taking that unit. And as you notice, it'll say whoever drafts the unit first gets the players that play in multiple units. So when you drafted the Minnesota halfbacks, you took Percy Harvin out of the kick return unit and the wide receiver unit of the Vikings.
And it'll be a good time to say, if you have missed out on this year's Battle Royale, in the summertime, Dennis runs what we call the summer sprint. And it's you play the games in sort of a condensed schedule for the summer, but that's pretty cool as well. And I think we're going to be doing one of the USFL seasons this year, possibly. I know that Paul Half Mankiewicz wants to do that. So we'll see. But the summertime, it was like a 2-month summer league, something like that, right?
Yeah, it was great. And we will do a retro season. It just depends on how many coaches are in the league. Which season we do. So it could be USFL, could be like 1983, something different, something cool.
Sure.
So I need to run real quick. I'll be back in 2 minutes. I got to go check on something. I'll be right back.
Should I continue without you? I guess he really did have to run. He couldn't answer my question. Okay. So we were talking Battle Royale. Look, there's a lot of leagues out there. Dennis seems to play in every league. Once upon a time, I played in more leagues. I think about 10 years ago, I probably had about 7 or 8 online Strat football teams. Now I'm down to 4 leagues that I participate in regularly. SOMIFA. All right, I'm in all of NFL Ed's family of leagues. That's SOMIFA in the fall, SSFA in the spring, and then SOMSFA, as Dennis likes to say, that's SOMSFA, which is 1 month staggered past SSFA, so it kind of bleeds into the summer a little bit. Then I'm in Autumn Wind, which I just joined, just completed my first year. Great league, 30 teams. Really different when you play. Look, when you first play a 24-team modern league, you say, "Wow, 24 teams, that's a big league," you know. When you play a 30-team league, it really is a different ball game. I mean, it's hard just to get running back attempts to fill out the year. You're going to have zeros running around. You're going to have bad quarterbacks starting for guys. So if you're an old guy, if you're an old-time guy that used to play with a lot of stock teams back with the dicing cards, which we all did because it was easier than drafting, you'll have to fall back on a lot of your old stock coach skills. My brother Arthur and I used to play these leagues where we would each have 8 teams. It would be a 16-team league, and we'd play a 10-game schedule. We played every game face-to-face, dicing cards when I was a teenager and he was home from the Army. We did that with the 1983 and 84 seasons. We had a lot of fun with that, and it was a lot of 7-9 versus 7-9 type of teams and stuff like that. And I hear Dennis lurking in the background. I'm going to move on because he only has about an hour tonight, and I don't want to get bogged down. Atlanta Falcons, coached by Mick, took over from John Madden. Dennis has said John is an excellent coach, has a SSFA championship, is going to be playing in the SOMIFA Super Bowl, and has a chance to be, I think, maybe only the 3rd man after Ed Burrow and Paul Mankiewicz to win a Super Bowl in both SSFA and SOMIFA. That would be something. And John was a very good general manager as well as a very good coach. And this team is pretty good, as you'd imagine, a team that John left. It's in good hands. Drew Brees is the starting quarterback. Matt Forte is the halfback. Golden Tate and Calvin Johnson are the starting receivers. Brandon Pettigrew at tight end. I can't tell if he's going with a blocking back or a 2 tight end offense here with Joel Dreesen, possibly. Offensive line's got 2 7s at right tackle and left guard. Got a 5 at left tackle. I would have liked to see him switch that around. I don't know why he wouldn't put the 7 at left tackle and the 5 at right tackle. So I think that was not a good move there by Mick. The run blocking is okay. Left guard 6, Logan Mankin. 5s at the tackle, 4s at center and right guard. Nick Mangold was a 4 last year when he was hurt. Should be a 6 next year. I'm a New York Jets fan in the NFL, and there was a lot of talk about how well he played, and he might have been the All-Pro center this year. Or maybe Travis Frederick beat him out, but he certainly made the Pro Bowl team and was rated very highly in Pro Football Focus and all that type of stuff. The Falcons under Mick are going to play a 4-3 this year, and they're going 5-5-6-4 on the front line. That's Tampa Bay's Gerald McCoy is the right tackle, 6'11". Always nice to get some good interior pass rush, any kind of pass rush from a down lineman, but especially an interior one. It goes 0-6-5 at linebacker. I would like to see him pick up a cheap 4 for that left linebacker spot because this is a good team. You got Drew Brees and Matt Forte. I don't know why you want to have a linebacker 0 running around out there. Then you got Richard Sherman and Brandon Browner, Seahawk reunion in the secondary. That's a 6'5" at the corner and a 4'5" at safety. Interesting, a safety situation because you can be doubling with Tyrann Matthew as the 5. I don't think we can swap safeties in the SSFA in the SOMIFA family of leagues. So good offense, pretty good defense. I don't have a lot of experience with Max as a coach, but this is a team that should certainly compete for the playoffs. and I'm going to say maybe goes 10-6 behind Drew Brees. Is an excellent card. Matt Forte is very good. Good offense all around. Defense does enough. They should be pretty strong against the run. That left linebacker 0 is just going to be picked on mercilessly. But he's got good cover guys elsewhere, so he can double, he can flood the zone and stuff like that, and should be in pretty good shape.
All right, I'm back.
I just did a quick rundown of the Falcons, Dennis. You want to bring them up on your screen real quick and tell me your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I see them. Obviously, Breeze and Forte is a nice combo. His defense is pretty strong too. I think he'll be a team to be reckoned with. What do you figure for the record?
Well, I'm going 10-6 only because I don't know Max as a coach, so I don't know what he's bringing to the table in this league. I don't like that left linebacker 0 there. I don't know why he pick up a 4, but he can flood that zone because he got good cover guys. But so I'm going to go 10-6 because I just don't know what Max brings to the table yet. What do you think?
Nick, not Max.
I'm thinking Max Spawn, the old linebacker.
Max. There you go. No, I think he's a good coach, solid coach. So yeah, I'd say I'll give him 11-5. I think he'll exceed your expectations.
Okay. Of course, whenever I make a comment like that, right away, I'm thinking, okay, this guy is now circling the calendar for when my club when my club comes to town. Oh, don't know about my coaching, eh? Circling the calendar. Moving on to the Baltimore Ravens. So they are coached by Jeff, Oregon Jeff, Duck fan Jeff.
Yep, Duck fan Jeff. Yep.
As opposed to Jeff Smith,
yep.
is the other Jeff who's running around in these leagues, correct?
Correct. There's a couple Jeffs, but okay, Jeff Devier is his real name. And Jeff Smith is the other Jeff that's in some more leagues.
Okay. And Baltimore Jeff, Oregon Jeff. He's got Cam Newton at quarterback. He's got Arian Foster with somewhat limited attempts, right? 121 carries last year, 4.5 average. Actually, is one of his better cards. This was a guy who was running for 1,400 yards, and people sometimes weren't thrilled with his cards. Now he's got some nice short gains and stuff like that, so that's Strat for you, where crazy things like that can happen. Offensive line, pretty good pass blocking, 3 7s, 2 5s. Run blocking is okay, 3 5s and 2 4s on the right side. Good tight end receiving in Jared Cooke, Torrey Smith, old Doug Baldwin. Not bad at receiving targets. The vaunted Marcel Reese as one of everyone's favorite receiving blocking backs, or you can go 2 tight end with Jermaine Gresham. So interesting.
He made a trade with you in this league, didn't he? Or no, that was somebody else. Who traded for C.J. Spiller from you? That wasn't Jeff.
That was Lawrence.
Oh, that's right. We'll get to him in a minute.
Yeah.
So Baltimore made a big trade for Haloti Ngata, I believe.
Yeah, I also traded Baltimore. I traded him Derek Johnson.
Oh, okay, that's right.
I traded him Derek Johnson for his 2 and his 4 next year.
Ah, that's right. I knew there was some trade connection with you. So you're rooting against him. You want those picks to be high in the round.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I look at these teams, and if I'm trading for a first round pick, certainly, and I try and gauge it. But second round, I don't worry too much about it. And I don't like to. If I know the guy and he's okay, I don't like to root against the guy. So as I kind of view it as laissez-faire. Wherever it lands, it lands. So
yep,
look, if it's a high pick, I'm happy, of course. But I'm not going to root against the guy really. So maybe if it was like Andrew Luck and it was for the first pick of the draft, who knows? But all right, looking at the defense now, it's a 4-3 defense. Good. Now here's what I don't like. I know he's a huge Oregon fan, so he trades for Haloti Ngata. And I talked to Jeff a lot, and he's posted on the forum about this. So these are not exactly trade secrets here, but okay. So he's a huge Oregon fan. He trades for Ngata, and he plays a 4-3 defense. The guy's a nose tackle 6. He's nerfed down to a 5. I don't even know if he knows that Ngata's going to be a defensive tackle 5. So
yeah, I'm sure he knows. He knows.
Anybody, he traded something pretty good together. What was that trade? Can you bring that up?
Yeah, no, it was actually a very good trade for him. He traded a number 2 and a number 4, and he got back. Oh, I'm sorry. He traded. That was a different trade. Oh, that's right. Yeah, here it is. So he traded Zane Beatles a 4 and a 2 next year for Nagata. So he gave up a guard that I don't think Zane Beatles is a world beater. His 4th round pick this year, and the second round St. Louis's 2nd round pick next year for
Yeah,
Nagata.
but then if you do that and you turn Nagata into a 4-3 tackle 5, you could get a defensive tackle 5 for like a late 3 anywhere, pretty much.
Yeah,
And the guy,
yeah, no, but
and the guy is like 30, 31 years old now. And next year, according to Derby, he's going to be a right end only. And one of those 3-4 right ends with no pass rush. You make that trade and you play Nagata at nose tackle, fine. But you make that trade, you make him into a 4-3 defensive tackle, 5-2. I don't like that.
he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to get Marcel Darius off the field. So that's the reason why he's doing that.
I understand that. So you don't trade for Nagata then. You trade for Colin Jenkins cost me a 5th-round pick. you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but he's a Ducks fan and he likes the guy, so I'm sure he'll stick him out there at defensive end next year and bench Brian Robeson, so he'll play like a 6'3", 6'4" out there. So
sure, I need that Cliff Averill so he can play. So he'll have good defensive ends then, and then I'll need to get another defensive tackle.
Yeah,
So at least to get a spot there in the line. I understand that, but now he'll be low on picks as well. But okay. All right, but anyway, for this year, he goes 4-5, 5-4 on the defensive front, 5-6-6 at linebacker. That's impressive. 6-4 corner, 4-6 at safety. Kind of a strong defense. I always like. Look, you got 5-6-6 at linebacker and a 4-3. When you have a 6 linebacker, I mean, they really make a huge difference. You know my spreadsheet work. They knock about 2 yards average off of the yards per attempt. You're going down from like a lot of guys can average like a pretty decent quarterback to a pretty decent receiver. Your average gain on a flat pass against a 5 is going to be maybe about 5 yards. Against these guys, it's like 3.1, 3.3. It really makes a huge difference. So I like to see that. And then when the other guys are 5, it's not like people are going to be picking on Ryan Kerrigan, Yeah,
and he gets a ton of pass rush with his linebackers and with his defensive line. 3 of his 4 defensive linemen have 8 or better pass rush. Everybody except for Nagata, and his linebacker, and then 12 with the 3 asterisks. So he can he can put a lot of pressure on. If he keeps those linebackers home, that's making a mistake. Bring the pressure, bring the heat, and put the quarterback on his back.
Well, the one thing to remember though with those linebackers, and when you're in the 4-3, you can never get a second high linebacker reading. So when you're blitzing more than one, it's only good to get the added, +2, +4, what have you. But it's not like a 3-4 where Levante David's 9 could come into play against a right guard. But even so, like you said, 3 down lineman, 10-8-10. And look, anytime you have an interior lineman with pass rush, it's always good. Only problem is those right tackles, they go up against left guards, and it seems like everyone's got a left guard 7. But if he maybe blitzes heavily, bumps those numbers up, and the pass rush is good. And then you've got Keenan Lewis as a 6 covering one guy, so Earl Thomas, your free safety, can easily double the right corner aggressively. And you know what? You can drop Levante David back to cover that guy a lot because people aren't going to be looking to throw at Levante David either with their halfback or the flat over there. So see, a lot of times people look at the defense, look at the ratings, count up the 4s and 5s. You can't always go that way because here's a defense that's got 2 4s on the defensive line, 2 4s in the secondary, but the way that it will play is much stronger than those ratings. Do you know what I'm
saying? For all the good things that we've said about their defense, their offense might struggle a little bit with Cam Newton. This is the kind of team that you'd love to see have the depth to be able to waste a 1st or 2nd round pick on like a Josh McCown card to really improve his title chances.
Yeah. I agree with you that. Cam Newton's card not that great. Arian Foster a little low in attempts. The run blocking is not sensational. The offense will hold this team back, and even though the defense is good, some of these defenses that need to get pass rush, sometimes you're not going to get it. You know, so, and then Jeff, I don't think he has a track record of a lot of playoff appearances. I'm going to pick this team for 8-8. What do you think?
It sounds about right to me. You know, if the thing that might save him is the dump offs. You know, he has 3 7s and 2 5s on the line in passing situations. So you really like when a D comes up and you get off of Cam Newton's card and turn that into a dump off.
And one thing that
might save him a little bit.
One thing that wouldn't be bad about that also is if you're avoiding those sacks and you get additional must-run readings. Cam's not great at it, but 2 to 7 is 5 yards or more. So, you know, you're going to see, you know, like we've talked about with Russell Wilson and stuff, you can throw more bombs, you can throw more downfield passes if you have good pass blocking. If a guy's a lot of must-runs, it's not so much of an all-or-nothing play. You know, you might not see 2nd and 10, you might see 2nd and 6. You know, so I'm still going to go with 8-8. I think we agreed on that. But you know what? But it's also one of those teams that could beat anybody because the defense is pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, the offense can do some things. You know, they're going to be in a lot of games, but they're also a team that could struggle against a team that's on the lower end of the league. It's a kind of unusually put-together team. Let's move on to the Buffalo Bills. I think we have a new coach in the SSFA for Buffalo. Is that correct?
Yes, Stanley Podsednik or something like that.
Is it Stanley? We want to help you do things right. That was the commercial. In my part. I know a lot of these commercials are regional, so if I say the commercial, I don't know if you...
No, I got that commercial too. I remember that.
Okay. All right, great. So Stanley wants to help the SSFA do things right. Let's see. Gary Barnidge is his backup tight end. So I'm going to go look at the blocking back formation. Yes, Tony Fiametta. Matt Schaub. Oh, that's bad news. Okay. Quarterback, the most important position on the field. 2014 league, most guys are going to have at least a pretty good quarterback. He's got Matt Schaub and then Jay Cutler. Eddie Lacy's card is unspectacular, not bad, but you know, not you know what I'm saying.
Why is he starting? Why is he starting Schaub over Cutler? Cutler should be a starter.
Maybe we have a depth chart problem. I don't know. I mean, Schaub throws picks too. Look at Schaub throws a pick on 10. On 10, on short pass right, it's 2 to 11 and 12.
Hey, look at that long pass. Oof, you don't want to touch that. Look at Cutler's. Cutler's card is decent.
Yeah, Cutler was surprisingly good against the flat pass. On the flat pass, Cutler actually slightly fewer interception on the short pass right. Yeah, I would start Cutler too.
Start him and hit the flats. Just go flat crazy.
Someone send an email to Scott and tell him to start Jay Cutler, preferably after he plays you. No. Scott, if you're listening, Dennis wants you to start Jay Cutler. I could see going either way, but I'm just doing a blank look. People hate Jay Cutler.
Yeah, but his stats last year were...
Schaub's slightly better flat, but boy, that short pass card is brutal on right. Jesus. 2, 4, 5.
Yeah,
Do I want to try a 55 field goal or throw a short pass? So, you know,
definitely doing a short pass.
It's basically 2 to 5. That's not good. It's 10 units, and then long pass 2 or 12. You're better off trying an onside kick than trying to complete a bomb on right with Matt Schaub. Good luck with that. So yeah, Jay Cutler should definitely be starting for Buffalo. Eddie Lacy, unspectacular card. It's okay, but you know.
His card's good. His card's good.
Good.
Let's look at it. Pull it up. Pull his card up.
It's actually good. I was gonna look at the averages.
Lacy's card did. Lacy has the 8th best card according to NFL Ed. You run and run with him when you want to move the ball consistently and try to hit the off tackle or line buck edges when you want to get a big play.
Not a fan of that card.
8th best card.
Well, it's a down year though for running cards. God, that card's not better. Now look, I love NFL Ed. I have all the faith in the world in his rankings most of the time. You'd tell me that card is better than Matt Forte's card? That Matt Forte card can move the chains. Whose card would you rather have? You have Frank Gore in numerous leagues. Who would you rather have? Frank Gore's card or Eddie Lacy's card?
Pull it up again. Let me see. I would take Lacy's. I think I'm telling you, this card is a lot like Okay,
shitty card.
this card is a lot like one of those Sean Alexander cards, where you had like the really chunky on the outside, and one of the columns would be good, like
Well, Sean would never get
in the
these
middle of
meaty
the numbers.
Sean would never get these meaty short games on a 6 and 7 M run, but I look at the rest of the end run. I don't know.
No, Sean would get those. Sean would have this card, but that end run card would be his line buck card. You just shift everything over. So it's not this. Trust me, I know you've played with the cards like this, and it's frustrating. But in the end, it'll get his yardage.
Yeah, but it's not always about getting your yardage. It's about how. And Matt Forte's got solid yardage up and down the card. I'm right. You know, you get Eddie Lacy gets right off tackle or end run. That's all she wrote. I know no one's that good at end run, but geez, I'm not a fan of this card personally.
Yeah.
But okay, but for me, okay. You got Jay Cutler and Eddie Lacy. You feel like Eddie Lacy's going to pull his weight?
No.
Okay, there you go.
Probably not.
Yeah. If you got Peyton Manning and Eddie Lacy, okay, sure. I mean, Eddie Lacy can do all right with a real good quarterback, but he's not going to do all right when you need him to be more of the focal point of the offense.
Yeah, and plus Stanley's real brand new in coaching, so this team might struggle a little bit with that personnel.
Now Eddie should have a good card next year. So and it's not a terrible card. I'm not trying to say it's a terrible card, but it's certainly not that upper echelon card. And I would argue that Matt Forte and Frank Gore have cards you prefer because they can move the chains a little more consistently, I think. And they're probably better receivers, although Lacy's an underrated receiver. He's not terrible, but Gore, he's no Matt Forte, but who is, right? Receivers, oh boy, Jerome Simpson and Stephen Hill. Lance Kendricks are tight. This offense is in trouble in a hurry. They had a 6 at center. They had no 7s on the line. That offense is in a little bit of trouble. Let's look at the 4-3 on the defense.
No, that's something to get excited about. That's a nice defensive line.
Is Kevin Vickerson a 4-3
That's
tackle?
a really nice defensive line. Yep. He was on the Broncos, who played a 4-3 last year.
6'5" on the defensive line, with J.J. Watt and with pass rush up. J.J. Watt's 11, and Casey and Allen are both 12s with a 1 asterisk. That's extremely impressive, and they're going to need it because Andy Malum is a 0 at left linebacker, 0.54 at linebacker, 4.5 at corner, 5.6 at safety. A lot of pass rush.
Yeah, the problem with that pass rush is that with those linebackers, most coaches are just going to flat pass on them and avoid the sacks.
Yeah,
just go after the 0 and the 4.
Yeah, and you can even throw it a 5 linebacker. It's not the end of the world. What you don't like is throwing at the 5 when it's like 6'5", that other team, because then the free safety is going to be up there often. But yeah, 0.54 is going to be a flat pass fest. Which means he can't bring the linebackers up. Which means if you have a good back or good blocking, you can try and attack those 5s on the line, and then you can still take shots downfield in the short pass zone, certainly with 4 or 5 5s. And if you're going to bring the free safety up to try and cover one of these linebackers, you can throw a bomb at Logan Ryan's a 4. So this is a defense that is not bad, but not good enough to overcome the offensive limitations. We have a new coach, Stanley. We want to help you do things right, Stanley. We want to help you do things right. So we're just
do things right.
Yeah. So we're just giving constructive criticism. Well, I think the team is going to struggle, and Stanley's new. I'm really gonna hammer the team right now. I'm gonna give them a 4-12 prediction. Stanley, don't take it personally. This is just a prediction. Someone's got to go 4-12, and I'm picking that you will. Don't take it personally. That was harsh to say. He's a great guy. I've already spoken with him, but I just think he's still learning the game a little bit. I think the offense is going to struggle. I think because he's learning the game, he'll have a hard time. I think even an experienced coach would have a hard time getting this team to the playoffs. And I'm gonna say 4-12, 5-11, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think that it's a steep learning curve. If you remember back to the very first year you played online football, I was terrible the first year in that CFA ranked ladder system. But you take your beatings, you learn, you bounce back. It's going to take you a full calendar year to get the rules down, to get the nuances of the game, and just look at it as a building and a learning experience, Stanley. Hang in there, bud.
Well, Dennis, the first year of online football, I was one of the top 2 guys in To see for ranking system, of course, I had been playing Strat football for 22 years already at that point, so that's a different animal.
Okay, don't break your arm patting yourself on the back there, Mr. #1 ranking.
Well, I wasn't #1. I forget who the guy was. Maybe it was David Pagic, but it was me and like two other guys were fighting for the top spot. I know David Pagic used to play some SSFA. I know he's out there. And I think he's in Battle Royale. I know he's in one of those leagues, or is he in Order Wind, or is he in both of those?
Yeah, no, he's in Battle Royale, and he plays in Snarl, and he plays in my stock league. So yeah, he likes the stock teams.
Very solid coach.
Yes.
So if David now listens to this, which he probably won't, because he's not in SSFA, he can circle the calendar in Battle Royale. I'm letting everyone circle the calendar. Buffalo does not play me this year, so there'll be no circling the calendar for the Bills in SSFA. Right. Stanley will bide his time, and then I'll have the Bills in orbit ready. So I got your 4-12 right here. Moving on to the Chicago Bears, Lawrence's team. Now, Lawrence 2 years ago had an awesome team. He had Matt Stafford's 5,000-yard card and a good Darren McFadden Oakland card and a great team. He put up all kinds of points, went like 13-3, and lost, I think, to John Madden in the semifinal when John went on to win the Super Bowl. I lost to this team in the playoffs, and they were a real good team. And then Lawrence had a down year last year, I believe. I'm not certain about that. And then this year he made a bunch of trades to improve for the year. Last year he was middle of the pack. He picked 13. He drafted 13, so it was not awful. I traded him C.J. Spiller for his first-round pick next year. Now, this team, Matthew Stafford's the quarterback, but Stafford has got a weird card this year. Only completed 58.5 last year with a 3 interception percentage, which is high by modern standards. He's got a great long pass wrong card. He's got like 15 units. Look at that. 3, 7, 12, 15 units long pass wrong. 8 on right, but then you've got on right, you got an automatic pick on 3, and 11 is 2 to 6, 11 to 12. So, and if you're gonna rely that's a card you want a running back like Spiller or like LaShawn McCoy or Marshawn Lynch. You need people to call run against that card. You're gonna go old school play action down the field, is what you're saying. You're gonna go 1968, fake the dive, throw it down the field to Gene Washington or Bob Hayes or someone, John Gilliam.
Yeah, this is like who is the Mad Bomber for the Oakland Raiders?
Darryl LaMonica.
George Bland. Or Darryl LaMonica. This is the Darryl LaMonica 1968 type card. Yeah,
now short pass. Now Stafford's pretty good short pass wrong. I think a lot of times in the modern game, if you have a good running back, I almost feel like your play action should be a short pass or a flat pass because they're just such a high percentage to get that 10 to 12 yard where the bomb is so all or nothing. But you still pick your spots and throw your bombs, absolutely. But especially if you have a good maxed out receiver with a decent average, like you like to throw to Deshaun Jackson. I know he's on a couple of your teams. Look, a wrong call, short pass to Deshaun Jackson, that's a pretty nice play.
Absolutely. Especially in a draft league with all those receiver readings.
Exactly. And that's what we're really talking about, because who cares about stock teams? I'm joking. I know the stock leagues out there. NSFL, they're still around. Kirk Klein's league. You just mentioned what league is it?
Snarl, USFFL, and SFFDL.
Yeah, Snarl.
I run a stock league.
I played the Snarl for many years, but go ahead.
No, just saying that those are the stock leagues that I know of. NSFL is a shortened team stock league. It only had like 16 teams. Snarl has a full slate of teams, but a lot of the coaches dropped this year, so we had to play a lot. SFFL is the best stock league in that it goes week by week, and it's full. It's always full. And then there's mine, which is pretty good too. So.
I can't say anything negative about Snarl, which Tom Novich used to run, and I was in for years. And they used to do retro league, so I will not allow you to say that there is a stock league better than Snarl. I have a lot of sentimentality there. I will not allow it. Overruled.
Well, we're seeing people like you. I had to play the Seahawks. Well, I wanted to play the Seahawks, but then the Jacksonville coach never showed up, so I played all the Jacksonville games, and then Houston, the AFC South was like run by Junu. He ran the Texans, the Titans, the bunch of. So we basically wound up with a bunch of sub coaches.
I got
So
you.
the league is good, the structure is good, but we need more peoples.
I got you. All right, now Matthew Stafford. Here's the problem with this card: short pass right. 5, 7, and 10. That's all right. That's 13 units. Is that too much for you, Dennis? The short pass right.
And 2 through 8 on the pick split. That's not good.
Yeah, so and you're going to get a lot of short pass right, and you're going to need a lot of short pass right in this game to move the chains. Now, the flat pass is not that great either. It's okay, but so you
this flat card. Look, go back to that flat card. Go back to that flat card. That is
Russell
Wilson's flat card. That is Sam Bradford's flat card. That is, there are so many flat cards, I don't know why, in this set that came out looking exactly like that. 4, 6, 6 and 7 with blanks everywhere else except for the short game, and the exact same pattern. You know, Strat, come on, mix it up a little bit.
Okay, well, I don't have any of those quarterbacks, so it doesn't bother me. But, I got so mad earlier tonight. I played my first SSFA game. I had like a 3rd and 2. The guy goes like short yardage because I've got beast mode, and I threw like a flat pass. It might have even key beast mode. I had nobody in flat pass. I threw a flat pass. Peyton Manning, what he completes like 67% last year. Flat pass wrong, no man. I get 5 on my card incomplete. Like Peyton Manning, really. I can't even get a maxed out flat card with Peyton Manning in his record-setting year. But anyway, and I had to punt. I was pretty mad about that. But anyway, that's what people tune in to hear why me getting mad on one play call. But so Stafford, you need to have a good running back, I think, to make this card work in the 24-team league. And he's got C.J. Spiller, who I played with in Autumn Wind. And see, he's kind of a weird back, a weird card, because he's got some real huge long gains, and he's actually pretty solid on right. Look at C.J. Spiller's linebacker right and off tackle right, so that would make you think, oh, that's a move the change card. Even end run right, he has to have one of the better end run right cards in the set. Doesn't have the massive negative on the fumble. Its only massive negative is a 9 -4, but he's got +5s and +4s at other places. But there's no short gains on this card. From like 4 through 9 on wrong, you're not getting anything. I mean, I shouldn't say you're not getting anything. You're not getting any short gains, and you're getting some 1s and 2s and 3s. So it's almost like a Tiki Barber wrong card mixed in with like a good running back's right card. It's a very strange card.
It looks like Eddie Lacy's, except for the end run.
Because instead of the 6 and 7 short gain, he's got a 10 long gain. But he's much better on right than Eddie Lacy. So it's a really weird card. But it's a card, like you said, we've all played with these cards. If you run the card, they'll get your numbers, but it can be hit or miss. I feel like when you have a card like this, your run blocking is really important. You really need to pop those +7s and +8s, because you can't always rely on getting good yardage on this running backs card. I don't know how many run calls this card is going to generate. So you feel like Stafford has got a good short pass, long pass wrong card. You feel like Spiller's got some explosiveness wrong, but yet when you put them together, it just doesn't seem to mesh as well as you might like. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that's. I mean, look, I think you're right. I think that's going to be a part of the problem. But one of the things that works in his favor is Spiller has that name. You're used to being afraid of Spiller, and you're used to calling run more often than you would against a normal back. So he might see more run calls early in the game, and then when people get a peep at that card, they're like, "Oh, let him take a chance. I'm just going to stop Stafford." And then the receivers play a big part too. If he had another guy like Antonio Brown, Antonio Brown opposite, say, Calvin Johnson, then you're also going to be more likely to get some help on the receiver cards, where you were going to get like an 18, 17-yard gains when it hits a receiver card. When you have one guy like Brown, just keep double teaming him with a free safety, and it kind of clogs the offense.
Yeah, but you overlooked the tight end slot, and I brought that card up on the screen right now.
Oh, Jimmy Graham, that's good. That'll help.
Yeah, man, look at that short. Look at that caught for a tight end. Look at that flat
They,
pass for. I'll tell you, when you have a great tight end, they get ridiculous flat pass wrong cards. Look at that flat pass wrong card for Jimmy Graham. 19 long gain, 15,
like,
69. And then I'm right. They're like 14, 15, 13. I mean, that's a great. Come on. And Jimmy Graham 137. He's got the long pass card of a number 2 receiver. He's got 18 long pass chances, which is the best you can get for a tight end. I think Rich Castor in the early 70s did get 21 once. I think he's the only one that was discussed once. So these weapons actually help. Pierre Garçon is not very exciting, I admit, but he's your 3rd receiving target, and he's maxed out flat and short.
that's nice.
Doesn't get you the big plays, but it catches the ball. So that's going to help a lot. We overlooked that. And I think Reggie Bush as a backup running back helps because you'll have enough carries.
You got that long gain on 4.
Yep, and which is really a plus 39. That's as long as he can go. So which doesn't sound as impressive. But I think you made a great point to think about what guys are used to. C.J. Spiller's had a real good call like 3 years in a row. So guys like, C.J. Spiller, I got to call run. And then not only that, but everyone knows that he had a decent year last year, and he's ranked somewhere by Adam Shore fairly highly. He's ranked number 6. It's a bad year for running backs. Once you get past Fred Jackson, none of these other cards are really great. Although I do like Forte's card, and Gore's not too bad. I mean, Ellington's good and wrong, but once you get past Freddie Jackson at number 5 on Ed's rankings, these guys will have more problems with them. They're not as solid at all. They're not really the type of guy you'd like. Like normally, in most years, if I tell you a guy's a number 6 back, he's gonna have a better card than C.J. Spiller does.
Yep, you're right.
But this is interesting. There he goes. 3-7s pass blocking. Nice right side of the line, right tackle 6.
And the 7s are in the right spot. You want the 7s at the off tackles in the left guard.
Yeah, left tackle, left guard. Now Jimmy Graham 0 hurts him on the right side, but you can't have everything. Interesting offense there. They'll probably do some things well. I think the receiving will help. Guys are going to get past. You're going to hit big runs with C.J. Spiller, I think, and the blocking will help you there. It's a 3-4 defense. In SSFA, we play average for every team, in case anyone is listening who's not in this league. So we're going to go 5-5-4, the defensive line, with no pass rush. We're going 0-4-4-4 at linebacker. With, oh my goodness, 4-4-4 in the short pass column. You got 1-6 on defense. Where do you least want to have it? Probably free safety, and that's what he's got. Free safety 6. That defense is in trouble. What do you think, Dennis?
He's going to have to outscore people. He's going to have to hit those big hitters and put up points, because I see this as a 500 team with that defense at best.
Yeah, you get a flat pass. The problem with these teams, when you have bad linebackers, you got to constantly cover the flat pass. And then even if you have 5s in the defensive line, guys can run at 5 successfully with the average cards. The excellent card is different, So the guys are going to pound, blocking back and pound this right in 4, and they're going to throw flat passes to their running back and blocking back. So you got to keep these guys back. Then, they're going to throw to whoever they want to in the short pass, and you got to worry about double teaming. You got to get past so much with this defense that it's going to be easy to run. You can still throw flat passes. You can still throw short passes, and the pass rush is non-existent outside of Elvis Dumerville. And what are you going to blitz him? What are you going to blitz him?
You got to blitz him half the time at least. You got to bring him on almost every play.
You're going to blitz him every single play, and he's trying to cover somebody out there. It's a 0, and as one linebacker in a 3-4, he's going to be blocked by a left guard. Is probably a 7. So I don't like the way this team is put together as I look at it right now. Just because the defense is so weak, and the offense has got a lot of explosion to it, but people are going to make you beat them with a running game. Lawrence has done some good things in the past with the coaching, but I'm going to go 8-8, and I think they're more likely to go 7-9 than they ought to go 9-7. I'm going to go 8-8. A soft 8-8.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go 9-7 just so that number 1 pick that you have from him is a few spots lower. So 9-7. Sneaks into the playoffs.
I got 2 number 1s. So it's interesting when you find a team like that. That's just an interesting thing to figure out. We spend more time on it than some other teams that maybe are a little easier to look at and figure out. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
All right, Cincinnati Bengals. Is that Jay Villing's team, or no? That's in
No, this is Butch Schrammick.
Butch Cassidy.
Yeah, Butch Schrammick and the Sundance Kid.
How do you know all these people's last names? I only know a few. What's up with that?
Well, I guess because I'm more friendly and like to use people's names.
I guess.
I don't know.
Or maybe you're more of a stalker.
I think I'm in too many leagues.
You're more of a stalker.
Maybe,
You're secretly collecting their information for the NSA or something.
No, you know what it is? I'm in more of the ops leagues, and they always list their full name, not just their first name, last initial. So that's what I'm
Did they want my street address in that league? And I was like, no, I'm not.
Absolutely.
And I was like, no, I'm not giving you my street address.
You didn't even give them a P.O. box? Come on now. How are we going to send you a Christmas card?
Yeah, it was like the Blues Brothers. I gave them the Wrigley Field address.
Nice. I like it.
His name is the Butch. Butch, I think, is a longtime Strat football coach. He might have been in SOMIFA once upon a time, like 10 years ago, and then I guess he's back. So this is not a newbie then, is what you're telling me I should think, right?
I don't remember if he was in SOMIFA. That was probably before my time. I know him from Autumn Wind and Frozen Tundra and Spring Fever.
Okay, so he's been around. The other guy, the Buffalo guy, Stanley, is really new to online. Butch has been around. Okay, yeah. And he takes over. I think it's his Kendall's team, which lost the Super Bowl. And the team that Kendall built up for years did a great job with. Right off the bat, what do I see? Matt Ryan and Jamal Charles. Hello. Anytime you get the quarterback running back combination, where it's a strong quarterback, strong running back, legitimate running back card, that gets your attention, and right away you're thinking, okay, this could be a real high end team. And let's look at then you got 3 7s on the offensive line. Why is just I saw this on another team, mixed team. You put a 7 at right tackle. Well, I'm not going to go back to mixed team, but Mick put a 7 at right tackle and a 5.
No, open up his card. I'll tell you why. Click player card on Peters. I know it doesn't seem like there's not much information there.
He's a left tackle.
He's a natural left tackle. Why are you playing him at right tackle? Why are you shifting him over? William Beatty, is he a veteran or what? Does he have more seniority in the locker room? Is that why he got bumped over? Peters should be your left tackle.
Yeah, guys, you definitely look. Now, Butch is going to get mad at me. What do you guys know? My opinion, and I think Dennis strongly agrees with me, you need a 7 at left tackle and a 7 at left guard if you can, because that's where the heaviest pass rush is likely to come from. To put a 5 at left tackle.
Or maybe that's what everybody else thinks when they're setting their defense up, and this is like a counterintuitive play that's actually brilliant because everybody's shifting over their best pass rushers to go against the right tackles, and they're going to get stuck. So maybe it'll work.
That could happen, but I think we have a rule with shifting now. I don't remember what it is. But
you can shift it. You can shift what you want now. Okay. You can shift left to right, right to left, all that stuff. But also, like all these tight ends, none of these tight ends block anymore. They're all 4s and some of them are 0s, whereas almost everybody's got a blocking back who's a 5. And I don't think that you can switch. There's still 2 switches you can't do. I don't think you could automatically switch to OLT and ORT, correct? I'm not sure. I think the only thing you can't do is the free safety, strong safety thing.
I'm almost certain. I remember reading this. I'm almost certain that you cannot switch OLT and ORT either. And if I am right about that, which I think I am, if I'm right about that, we all know that there are very few. We know that Strat has a lot more 7s at OLT than ORT. So you're going to get more 6s then on the left side. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm getting at. I don't know. Anyway, I'll put my 7 pass block at left tackle just to make sure. But he's got 3 7s, but he's got 4 7s. Matter of fact, his only 5 is William Beatty, and he puts him at left tackle instead of right tackle. Under those circumstances, I'd definitely make him the right tackle.
Yeah, maybe he wanted to stack all his 6s together at right guard, right tackle.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a good blocking back.
Yeah, I don't know. You got me.
But anyway, yeah. But when he goes 15-1 and wins the Super Bowl, tell us to shut up.
That is a nice team. That's a nice combo. Matt Ryan, Jamal Charles.
You got T.Y. Hilton and Keenan Allen. So that's acceptable. Scott Chandler's okay. You're probably like a little more explosiveness in the receiving game, but it's a very good offense. And then you go to the defensive side, so 4-3, and you go 5-5-5-4 on the line with very little pass rush. Julius Peppers giving you a 4-9 at right end. You go 4-4-4 at linebacking. Oh, no. Then you got 6-5 at corner and 6-4 at safety. So that free safety, look, he's got 6-6-5 as the short pass defenders. That free safety, Rashad Johnson, is going to be living in the flat pass zones and or double teaming halfbacks, second tight ends, and blocking backs who are dangerous. But the defense can struggle a little, and then they don't have pass rush, or dump offs can be a problem. So people might challenge some of those sixes in the secondary because they can get a dump off and probably not face a double team. But I think the defense can do enough with that offense. What do you think?
Yeah, I think this is at least. I see it as a 10-win team with some upside. That they're going to get dump offs against them, and they're going to have problems with flat passing wizards. But that offense, that's pretty much the 1-2 punch you want. Matt Ryan, Jamal Charles, good receivers, good offensive line. So you're going to have some issues with pass rush, but what can you do? You can't, like you said, you can't have everything. So I see this as a 10-win team, playoff type team, and you never know. Once you get in the playoffs, anything can happen. Yeah,
I'm going to go 11-5 for this team. I think I like the offensive that much, and I think that the defense can be coached around. And also, like sometimes when we look at the weaknesses of a defense, like we looked at Chicago's weaknesses, is also in relation to the offense. One of those teams, the offense, maybe Baltimore I'm thinking of, the offense wasn't really that good, so that while the defense was good, certainly better than Cincinnati's, it wasn't good enough to offset the offensive weakness. So like the Bengals, I can see the Bengals playing a good team and having some success against the run with the fives, getting hot with the free safety in the flats. Maybe the guy tries a couple of bombs, doesn't get anything out of it. So I think this team will be 11-5. Very dangerous. I think they're a legitimate contender. Very dangerous in the playoffs. Nobody would want to face this team because of that offensive combo, and the defense can do some things. So Butch could have a very fine year this year. We'll see what happens there. And moving on to Cleveland, this is Dan Soer's team. This is the infamous Frank Gore team, is it not?
It is.
Okay. What do we got here? We got Red Ellis. We got Ben Watson. I'm going to look at the blocking back set, I guess. You got Alex Smith at quarterback. Unspectacular, but does some things all right. You got Ben Tate at running back. Boy, you know what, Dennis? This team could really use a good running back.
It sure could. Ben Tate's okay.
That's a bit of an inside joke because they tried to trade multiple times with Frank Gore. And no soup for you was the ruling from the trade review committee. I'm on that committee.
We actually played tonight. And Frank Gore went off for like 230 yards against him, so he was not happy. He said we're actually joking around, but he said that he was upset after the deal fell through, but he's gotten over it now. Ed does so much work for these leagues, and he only has the best interest of the league at heart. So when the TRC overrules a trade, you can be a little peeved about it, but you got to get over it because in the end, they're trying to do what's best for the league, and he may be upset right now, but in 3 years when the inconvenient truth's finally retired, he'll be like, "Wow, I'm glad I didn't give up all those picks for him."
Well, it's interesting you mentioned about how Ed runs the league, runs these leagues. Ed does such a great job running these leagues. You have to understand, if you're not in this league, this guy, he sets out the deadlines like 8 months in advance. Like you could probably find it's February. You could probably find the upcoming SOMIFA deadlines for like September on the website. Okay, and then he sticks to them. Okay, and he gives you these spreadsheets early with incredible information. Everybody, very easy to find, very easily organized. Tells you exactly what you need to do. Allows for a very great element of democracy. If people are upset about the rules, he opens up a thread. We talk about it. Often a vote will come of it. And because everything seems fair and there's open communication, when there are those few things that Ed really doesn't like, people say, all right, you know what, Ed really doesn't like this one, we'll give it to him because he's getting us involved every other step of the way. So no one likes having a trade overturned, but at the end of the day, you end up still feeling like, you maybe be upset a few days, but then, again, you don't want to leave the league because it's so well run. I mean, Samifa's got a waiting list. Guys wait years to get into Samifa.
Yeah, and on top of that, the default draft list that he put out for SOMSFA this year for the SSFA, that was fantastic. It made it really easy to get your draft prep going. Take that as your base and start moving guys around to fit your preferences. So
the SOMSFA is developing. It's the third of these leagues, the youngest of these leagues. I don't, and they have a lot of new coaches coming in. I don't want to see those lists in SOMIFA and SSFA.
I do. I want to see those lists.
I'm trying to draft here. I'm trying to get good players. I don't need some guy who doesn't know what he's doing, taking all my good picks. I'm trying to build a team.
No, but that's the thing. That's the thing when you get a list like that for these new owners and for these inexperienced owners. Man, that's got to be a huge help for them.
I think it was, and it was a special year in SOMSFA. You had like 6 new coaches. SOMSFA was the youngest of the leagues, was started under an unusual drafting format. But hopefully in SOMIFA we have so many experienced coaches, and SSFA will never need those lists. I wonder if Ed is planning on producing them. Ed, please don't do it. I need my good picks.
You need your edge.
I haven't won anything in that league.
So that's cool.
I've been one semifinal. I'm up and coming with Andrew Luck. Don't undermine me. Okay, moving on.
Okay.
I guess I clearly don't want what's best. I want what's best for my team. That's what I want.
Ed, just email the list. That's all I care about. Just send it to me.
Oh no.
Make it available per request.
All right, go to the Cleveland Browns.
Okay, so let's go back.
Alex Smith, Ben Tate, Demaryius Thomas, Jeff Bryant is sweet. It's a bad one.
That's a bad Alex Smith card. I was surprised tonight when I played him. I thought Alex Smith was like a flat pass wizard, but that flat pass card this year it's barren compared to what he usually gets.
Well,
so I don't know what's going on with Mr. Smith.
But
that's not good. Guessed right. Look at that.
Guess wrong. 6. Guess wrong. 7 and 10. That's all I need to look at. I don't guess right. It's gonna be worse. So that's not good. But 60.6 completed. That's not that. That's below average pretty much nowadays. This is not a very good quarterback card at all.
Nope.
I want to do some end runs. I think is what I'm going to do. But and then you got Ben Tate and Shane Vereen and then you got Demaryius. Then you have Demaryius Thomas and Des Bryant. They're great. They're going to help Alex out. Kellen Winslow Jr. actually has a decent card. Offensive line 1-7, a couple of 5s, a couple of 3s. 6-6 on the left side with a 5 blocking back sounds nice. 4-4-0 on the right side, not so nice. That offense is going to sputter big time. 3-4 defense.
Enough time on the offense.
Say what?
Oh, that's nice. I said that was enough time on the offense.
Yeah.
The defense is the strength of this team. I like the way this looks.
6-5-5, 5-0-5-4, 5-4 at corners, 6-5 at safety. You like that? This team's not going to the playoffs.
Yeah. He's got, it's not going to make, the team's not going to make the playoffs, but the defense is a playoff-worthy defense.
Well, if you have a playoff-worthy offense, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you can do some things with this defense.
I think at the rate we're going, I'm going to pick about 4 teams for the playoffs. I think I've got like 1 team in the playoffs so far.
Yeah. No, wait, what did we say? Oh, yeah, I guess you did. Just so far, who is it?
Cincinnati. Cincinnati for me. You also put in the Bears so that my draft pick would not be as high.
Yes. Maybe
we're
getting the bottom is where I'll be.
All right, but you got 6-5-5 here,
Oh,
Muhammad.
Atlanta has a. I thought Atlanta has a good team too. I think we had Atlanta with like 10, 11 wins.
No, who is that? The
right with Drew Brees and Forte.
Oh yeah. You're right. You should probably write these things down. Why don't you write down the teams you picked for the playoffs? How about doing that?
Okay, so who do we have for? Let's just say Atlanta.
And Cincinnati, and then Chicago.
Okay, let's just go.
In Chicago, you have and I don't have.
Okay, that sounds fine.
All right, Cleveland, a 6-5. Wilkinson's a 10. 5-0-5-4. A lot of guys don't mind that extra ILB 0. because he's rarely stranded, so to speak. Doesn't cover anybody either. Calvin Pace is a 12 blitzer, but really the only sacks can come from Pace or Muhammad Wilkerson. I think it's hard when you have a 4 with a good blitzing and outside linebacker because he has got to cover somebody. He can be flat pass targeted. Ideally you want those Tom Bahali 6'12 guys where I don't want to throw at him, but I know you're going to blitz him, so maybe you got to throw at him. Then you catch him throwing at a 6, and he effortlessly knocks it away. Secondary, it's only 5'4" at the corners. So to me, that's a problem. You get a maxed out guy against a 5, you can throw at that. And then the 4 you got to constantly cover for. Yeah, I think the team's going to struggle. I think they're going to struggle. I think Dan's a pretty decent coach. I'm going to go. I'm going to go 7-9, although I think it might be 6-10. I'm going to go 7-9 for the Browns.
I'm going 5-11. I've seen the team in action, and it scares me how bad that combination is with Alex Smith and Ben Tate. Not pretty.
And I'll tell you what, Frank Gore is not putting his team over the top either. Even with Frank Gore, the
probably
team
not. That right side of the offensive line is gonna give up some sacks too. I didn't get any sacks tonight, but that's the weakness. Right tackle, right guard with 3 pass block rating.
I think with Frank Gore, it's maybe an 8-8 team, maybe 9-7, but even that might be generous. So I think you're right. He'll be happy to make that trade. Maybe as soon as next year. Maybe they go to Carlos Hyde, new coach. Who knows what's going to happen with Frank Gore. Moving on to the Denver Broncos. This is Renee's team, right?
Yes, I believe it is.
I played them in the playoffs a few years ago. So we're going to go blocking back. Renee's an excellent coach. He's had weak teams for many years in SMIFA and the SSFA and has done well. The SMIFA team has fallen on hard times, but that league, the coaching talent in SMIFA is just brutal. You're facing like 20 top coaches out of 24 teams, and if your team is a little weak, even if you're a great coach, you're gonna take some lumps. He's rebuilding with that team. But here we got Tony Romo's great. DeMarco Murray's got a pretty good card. Rashad Jennings also has a good card. Plenty of attempts, and Renee loves to run the ball. Offensive line not good. All four is pass blocking and a 1-5. A 2 at right guard. Tony Romo's got a great card.
2-5s.
Okay.
Okung he has a 5 center and a 5 right tackle.
Romo has the dreaded 7 flat pass wrong and complete, but we're all getting used to that now. But a very strong card otherwise. Look at that 1 pass wrong card. It's pretty nice. That's 14 units.
Yeah, it looks like a Tom Brady card. It's like a classic Tom Brady card. The 7 incomplete on flat pass. And
you've got Murray and Jennings who you can run with, and Renee loves to run. Now, the receiving targets aren't the best. You do have the great Charles Clay, Mike Wallace, Harry Douglas, Charles Clay. And these guys in Strato, Charles Clay, Marcel Reese, they're beloved. Everybody wants those guys in their team. Now it's Ladarius Green, 1 year only for Ladarius Green. It's kind of a weird offense. Good quarterback and running backs, but the rest of the offense, Russell Okung is only a 4 pass blocking. The 5-4 is 5 runs, so he only has a left guard 5, Chad Reinhardt. So it's 1-5 pass block.
Right, I thought you said he only had. Gotcha.
Yeah, I say the run first because I'm an old card and dice player.
No, I agree. Run first. I thought you said he only had all 4s on the, or 1-5 on the run blocking. The use 1-5 on the pass blocking. My mistake.
Yeah, but actually, no, you're right. The run blocking is 2. Okay. Interesting team. Romo, great quarterback, excellent quarterback card, good running back cards. The rest of the offense not that great, but I know that Renee can coach, and I know that he particularly does a good job on offense. So I have confidence that offense will do well in the 16-game regular season. 4-3 defense goes 4-4, 5-4 on the line, 4-5-5 at linebacker, 4-4 at corner, 0-4 at secondary. All hope is lost.
Yeah, that's not going to get it done.
No, this defense, and Charles Johnson provides pass rush, but look, you got 3 4s on the defensive line. You got a 4 linebacker. You got a secondary that's dreadful. I have a lot of respect for Renee's coaching. I don't think the SSFA coaching is as brutal as Samifa by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm going to go 7. I'm going to go 7-9 because this defense is just it can't stop. I mean, when he plays a good team, he's just going to get blitzed.
Yeah, he's made some picks. that just haven't panned out yet, like Drake Kirkpatrick and Alfonso Denard and Cortez Allen. You expect those guys to get good ratings when they came into the league, but it just hasn't happened yet. So he's got Xavier Rhodes now. So, better days are ahead for him, I think.
Yeah, this year
Hankins and Rhodes are going to be two big additions.
Yeah, he had those two guys, who I think are real good players and will do well. And Joseph Randall in the 4th round looked a little better at that time than it does right now.
Yeah.
With his off-the-field escapade. So, all right. Moving on to the Detroit Lions. Now, is this Don Morton's team? I think they were the Bengals last year and they were renamed.
You are correct.
Don Morton, I've been playing with him for many, many years. He was in the IFL for many years, 1960s continuously. Beat me in the playoffs famously one year on his way to a championship. Yeah, I think
Don didn't join the league this year. He's been in the league, but he just changed his name this year. Once Kendall left and opened up the Detroit name, he switched it from Cincinnati to Detroit.
Yeah.
He's been in the league for a long time.
Yeah, Don's been in the league for several years at least, absolutely. So I misspoke if I implied otherwise, but I know he changed the team name when it became available. He's got Andy Dalton at quarterback. I think if it was not a bad card, but a lot of picks in the card, right? I think I played against him somewhere.
Correct.
It was kind of a weird. I think when we were looking at Jay Villing for the playoffs. Yeah, it's a very nice flat pass.
It's a good flat card.
I think Jay had him in the fall. Yeah, Ryan Matthews got a pretty good card. I kind of like Ryan Matthews' card. I don't know. Well, where does that rank him? I almost like him better than Eddie Lacy, but that's probably just on sight.
Let me look.
No, he's not better than Eddie Lacy. No. Ed is like somewhere 20, somewhere down there.
Yeah. He's at exactly 20.
Yeah. All right. Not right, but all right. So not so much for that, but it's not a bad card though. This might be the same. That might be the same duel that Jay had, Andy Dalton and Ryan Matthews. Anyway, Terrence Williams, Eric Decker, receiver, Kyle Rudolph, a tight end, 2 7s on the pass blocking, a 5, a 4, and a 0. I have to imagine Don's going to be starting the 0-4 Mike Pollock instead of the 4-0 right guard. I mean, he's only a 4 run blocking anyway. Might as well put not give up any kind of sacks there. Anybody can sack a guy. You can go to 0. So kind of a weird offense. Dalton, Ryan Matthews, Decker's real good. That offense is going to sputter. Don't you agree?
Yep.
Defense 3-4.
Yeah.
Defense 3-4 with the Michael Brockers is not a true nose tackle. So that's a 4-4-4.
4-7.
So it's a 4. He's got a 4-4-4 defensive line for the 3-4. 5-0-4-5 at linebacker. 5-6 at the corner. 4-5 at safety. Not going to get the job done. I mean, that 4-4-4 defensive line, people are going to run at that. It's going to bring guys up. You can throw flat on them. The defense might not do as bad as it looks, but overall, not an exciting team.
It's coachable.
It's coachable.
Yeah.
I agree. I think the defense is coachable. I think Don does a pretty good job. I'm going to give him 8-8. I'm going to give him 8-8. And I could see him.
Again, another non-playoff team.
What do you got for Detroit?
I'm sorry. I'll go 8-8 as well. Did you put the Renee as 8-8 or 9-7? I can't remember.
7-9.
7-9. Okay, so there's you have no new playoff teams, right? Just Atlanta and Cincinnati so far.
Yes, we're gonna have a 4-team playoff this year. Okay, we're moving on to Green Bay. No one gets a bye, Ed, in that format. I just checked. Green Bay's got a name, coach, doesn't he? Is that Ron Dickinson or somebody? Randy. Randy. One of the more enthusiastic coaches in NFL Ed leagues. He's got Nick Foles. The Josh Freeman era is over, as Randy can tell you.
Nice.
He's got Nick Foles, got a real good card. He's got Shady McCoy, great card. And next year, Le'Veon Bell, just for the hell of it. That's pretty nice. You got Mrs. Crabtree and James Jones, not exciting. Garrett Graham, a tight end, not exciting. Get a 7 pass blocking left tackle, 7 at center, 5 left guard. Kind of an average line, at least have 1-6-7 there. Some real ability there in the offense, although I don't know how experienced Randy is. I think he's still developing his online coaching acumen. Plays a 4-3.
He's played quite a few years in my league, and he always does well. He makes the playoffs, but then he winds up losing. But he can coach. He's a good coach.
All right, good. I don't have that much experience with him, so I'm trying to judge from afar. 4-5-4-4, the defensive line. That's going to be a problem with a 4-3. He goes 5-4-6 with the vaunted 6-12-12.
Look at that.
Robert Mathis,
that's nice defense.
5-5 a corner, 6-5 at safety. You know me. I'm a big guy in the secondary because you don't have. Because look, I like when I have good cover guys that I can move my free safety around more easily. I can blitz Mathis more easily. I can double for that 4 in there. So it's a defense you can coach around, and I'm picking everyone to not do that well. I don't know. What do you think about this defense and about this team?
Good. Shoot me the offense one more time. I think this is going to be like a 12-win team. That's 11 win because of the offensive line. I say 11-5. That's my prediction.
You're going 11-5.
Another playoff team for me. Yep.
I don't see it. I'm going to go. I was going to go 8-8 again. You have more experience with Randy coaching than I do. Maybe because he's just always had developing teams in the leagues I've been in with him.
You try to win with Josh Freeman.
I tried to win Matt Sims.
Do it 8-8. That's fine. That's fine with me. I think he's going to make the playoffs.
He's got Falls. He's got Shady. He's got the secondary. SSFA coaching not as good.
6-12-12. Come on.
I'm going to go 8-8 again.
4-12-1. He's good.
I'm going to go 8-8.
Okay.
A couple of losses in the fourth quarter. He gets furious. Wow. I had the playoffs. What happened? And then next year,
I have faith in you, Randy.
I think
11-5, buddy. Come on.
I play him in the second block. It's gonna be.
Yeah, go after.
He's gonna
after you.
It's gonna be 51-3 Packers. The Houston
Texans. An upset.
Oh, this team's good. I guarantee I'll pick them for the playoffs. Defending Super Bowl champions. I may revisit that Randy prediction. Put a star next to mine. I may bump him up. We'll see to 9-7 or so. This team won the Super Bowl last year. Last year, the top 4 seeds all lost. In that first game, it was crazy. And that opened the door for all these other teams to get in there. But this team was a really good team that maybe it underachieved in the regular season, but not in the postseason. They did not underachieve. They won the Super Bowl. That's Brad Miller coaching. You got Tom Brady. You got Andre Ellington with Chris Ivory, and Kendall Hunter to caddy on some carries. You got Justin Blackman and Marcus Colston and Tony Gonzalez. The dreaded Ladarius Green. Watch out. Blocking back. You got Tom Brady.
Nice.
You got 2 7s on the left side. That's how you do it. You got another 7 at center. 5s on the right side. You got 4 or 5 run blockings. So that's an offense that I think is going to do well. People are going to get pass all day long. They got to watch out for Ladarius Green and even Andre Ellington coming out of the backfield. You have to run the ball with Ivory and Hunter to have some success. But he did a good job last year. I think that offense is in pretty decent shape. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it. It's championship quality offensive line, quarterback, and blocking back. So halfbacks are not bad either.
On the other side, 3-4 defense. Wow. Now, Kyle Williams is not a true nose tackle, so you're going 5-5-6 on the line, but Kyle Williams is 11. 11. If you got a 5'11" at nose tackle, a lot of centers are 5 or worse pass blocking. That's a great default matchup on the line. Kevin Jordan's a 12 at right end. Then he goes 4-6-4-5 at linebacker. I felt like he should have traded Ninkovich or something. Who's a 5'9" defensive end instead of plugging him outside linebacker, but he didn't choose to do that. Should have traded Ninkovich or Ware and got a 5 OLB, in my opinion. But he goes 4-6-4-5 at linebacker. With Clay Matthews at 12, Luke Cooke is a 6 in the middle. 4-4 at the corner is going to hurt. 5-5 at safety. What do you think about this defense, Dennis?
I like it. I think he should have traded for a 4 outside linebacker just for third down situations, so then he can bring Ninkovich up to the line and not have to bring a 0 in there. But even with the team as it is now, he can bring a full-out blitz and and still move Ninkovich up to the line, bring in Warner to throw in some more linebacker support to go with Clay Matthews. It's a good team. I think this is a playoff team for sure. I'm going to say 11 wins. I'm going to bump Chicago out of the playoff picture because now I'm getting too many good teams in. So Green Bay, Houston, you guys move up on my list. Chicago, you're out.
Well, you know,
So,
you could end up with as many as 11 teams, so I wouldn't feel too concerned about that. You know what I'm realizing as we're doing this, Dennis, that whether it's Russell Wilson or whether it's anybody else we're talking about, I'm very stingy. Apparently I'm not ready to quickly say this guy's going to be good or this team's going to be good. And as we see as we're making the predictions, I'm picking more teams out of the playoffs. I'm probably too harsh in my criticism. Maybe it's my being a native New Yorker. Maybe it's my disillusionment.
You're always looking on the bright side of things.
Exactly. Maybe my
the non-bright side of things.
Yeah, it's my disillusionment as a Jet fan. This isn't going to work. Geno stinks. Remember, I think you were shocked. We were doing the draft preview show. You said, all right, you need a young quarterback. For example, you have Peyton Manning, which I do. Where are you taking Geno? I said, I'm not taking Geno. You said, well, what do you mean, seventh round? He's not going to be there? I said, no. I said, I don't want him on my 53. So, yes. But anyway,
hope springs eternal.
Here's how stingy I am. You ready? I'm going to pick this team. No, I'll be okay. I'll go 10-6. I'll go 10-6 for Houston. I'll
go 11-5.
I was going to go 9-7. I'll do 10-6. It's my third playoff team. Indianapolis. Now this is our halfway point. Do you need to stop after this team, or can we keep going if we speed it up a little bit?
Yeah, let's speed it up a little bit and try to go fast.
All right, great. Indianapolis Colts. That's Nelson's team, right? Yep. Sam Bradford, Rashard Mendenhall, Joy Cabell, King Miller, Denarius Moore, Victor Cruz, Greg Olson. A 7 on the line, otherwise not the best line in the world. Bradford's got a pretty good card, right? But I think kind of short pass friendly. Very fine short pass card. Not too bad in the bomb.
Hey, look at that! Look at that flat pass card. That's Russell Wilson's flat pass card. That's Matt Stafford's flat pass card. That's everybody in the
Nick Foles
flat pass cards. Yeah.
Nick
Foles like a little bit better.
That's the only reason I brought this up is because I showed his card is because I knew that you had mentioned that earlier. Offense, so not that great an offense, I think. I guess the second half of the alphabet may have some of the better teams this year. 4-3 defense for Nelson. Nelson has struggled a bit with his teams in this league and in Tomifa. Defense goes 6-5.
Oh, lots of 5s and 6s. Look at that.
6. Oh, yeah.
That's good.
It is. There's only 1-4 in the whole defense. Pat Sims at right tackle. 6-5-4-6. 6-5-4-6 with some pass rush from Campbell at 9 at left end, Cameron Wake at 10 at right end.
5-5. I'm serious about Sims. Bench him. Put Chris Jones in there.
0-7?
Seriously, play the 0-7 over the 4-2.
No, don't do it. He won't make any tackles. He give up a 36-yard run. You'll be screaming at Dennis. Play the other guy, but
right.
Well, you can play Chris Jones a lot, but not a lot of weak left guards out there. But 5-5-6 linebacker. You love to see a 6 in a 4-3 defense. 5-5 a corner, 5 a safety, 6 a free safety. That's a very strong defense. This is about as close as you're going to get to a stand-around defense in these modern leagues where you can pretty much just kind of stand pat, which we generally don't advise. But if you're going to do it, if you have to do it, this is a team that's not bad to do it with.
Yeah, I do. Remember we had a team earlier that had a really good offense and a terrible defense? Just shift this defense over to that offensive team. I think it was the one with Matt Ryan and Jamal Charles. If they had this defense, they'd be a championship contender.
Now, the running back position is a problem for this team. Sam Bradford's only okay. Nelson has struggled in the past. So despite his pretty solid defense, it's hard to have a defense. In the rule set that we have in the Somifa leagues, it's hard to have a defense carry a team. You have to have a good offense. Autumn Wind, with the double counting and the points, and you can get those excellent cards, your defense can carry a team. But I don't think you can really do it in these leagues. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. You need to be able to move the ball. The one thing you could do without is a running back if you have one of those flat pass cards where you can just flat pass like crazy.
Chad Pennington.
Bradford doesn't have that. Yeah, if you have that, and you have like just an average or below average running back, you can get by, but not with this setup.
Well, I'm going to hit this team hard. I'm going to give them 6-10.
6-10 with that defense? Come on.
Look at the offense.
Yeah.
And Nelson struggled in the past, so I'm just saying.
All right. I'll go 7-9.
There you go. That's
I'll
consistent.
give them the
I think when this is all said and done, you'll be more accurate than I am. I think I'm much too harsh. I'm much too harsh on my own team. Jacksonville. Who's the coach of Jacksonville?
Let's see. Is that Jay?
Jay Villing. All right. He's got Mike Glennon. He's got Adrian Peterson. He's also got Carson Palmer. Who's better, Carson Palmer or Mike Glennon?
You want Glennon, I think, for the lower picks.
Okay, yeah.
Let me look at Carter's card.
What do you want to see? You want to see Palmer's card or Glennon's card?
Yeah. See Palmer's card, now let's see Glennon's card. Yeah, so you can't really throw deep that confidently with Palmer's card. At least with Glennon's, you can avoid that middle number pick, and he's 2 through 5 instead of 2 through 10 on short. You gotta start.
Yeah. Glennon is kind of like that's like an old-fashioned game manager card for Glennon. You know, it's like a Don Troll, the 1968 Oilers I used. Adrian Peterson, of course, got a real solid card this year. We just saw him in action in your championship game tonight. You had him, right? Yeah, you won. Josh Gordon, they're very dangerous. Wes Welker, Antonio Gates, Julian Edelman is a backup. Tim Wright is a backup tight end. You can go 2 tight ends. Great offensive line, 4 sevens pass blocking, 2 6s and 2 5s run blocking. Interesting offense that I think can do better than you would think with Glennon because people are going to guess run for Peterson. And you got Josh Gordon and Antonio Gates receiving, and you got a good offensive line. 3-4 defense goes. Now Sue is a normal 4-3 tackle, so goes 5-5-5 on the defensive line. Goes 5-4-5-5 at linebacker. Goes 5-5 at corner. 5-4 at safety. Interesting. But Jay is an excellent coach. Every year Jay is in the playoffs, it seems like, and doing well. And that matters a lot to me. When I see a guy in there every year, or I see a guy not in there every year, then that's going to factor into my prediction. I'm sorry to say that, guys. Don't want to hear that, but I think it's reality. So I'm going to give Jay a little bit of a bump. Not too much. Not too much, though. I'll go 9 and 7.
All right, I'll go 10 and 6. I like that Peterson card is really, really nice. It looks it's chunkier than in past years, but that'll get people to call run. That'll allow Glennon to throw pretty much without hardly any chance of an interception on the offensive cards.
Now you were running a lot of line buck with AP tonight, right? You got a 6-8 short gain on line buck, is that right?
Right. Yeah. This is what you do with AP. Run off tackle or line buck if you want to move the chains and save the end runs for the end of the half or when you need a big play.
Home run, yeah.
Very chunky outside.
All right, Kansas City Chiefs, is that Dan Morin? It is Dan Morin.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, who was Cleveland? Oh, Dan Sir. That's right. We had 2 Dans. We got 2 Dans in the league. Kansas City's Dan Morin.
Yeah, Dan Morin, grandson of Milt Morin, the former Cleveland Brown tight end, I'm sure. Maybe not. Dan, I think, joined the league last year. I forget, maybe 2 years ago. I think he's a very good coach. I remember playing against him and I said, this guy is a new guy. I said, well, this guy's a good coach. I did. So there's that to factor into it. Aaron Rodgers, of course, great card. You talked about not having a running back and what kind of quarterback card you need. How about a guy who's got 3 to 7 flat pass right? Big Ben is that this year as well. So Aaron Rodgers, very great West Coast card, and he's going to need it because running backs Maurice Jones-Drew, Bobby Rainey, Jonathan Dwyer. That's pretty ugly.
That's horrible.
And you got Randall Cobb.
And that offensive line.
Oh yeah.
Look at that offensive line. That's not going to help him at all.
No, he's got 2 5s. He's got 2 5s pass blocking, then a 4, a 3, and either a 0 or 2, and only 1 5 run blocking. So the offense might be in a lot of trouble there, just because they can't run the ball at all and they can get sacked. And if you can't run the ball at all in Strat-O-Matic, it's hard to pass no matter who you have. And he doesn't have the pass blocking to pull it off. Defense playing a 4-3, he goes 4-4-5-6, and then goes 4-4-0 at linebacker, and 4-4-4-4 secondary. Sayonara. I know you got some wonderful pass rush there, and I have respect for this guy as a coach. But looking at those ratings, I know you get Aaron Rodgers. I know this guy's a good coach, and SSFA coaching not as good. I'm going to go 6-10, and I could easily see worse. I could easily see 4-12.
Yeah, I'm going to go 4-12. I think he should go 4-12. He needs to get a high pick so he can fill some of those holes on his team. Aaron Rodgers is going to be totally wasted on this club. Although, look, Greg Hardy and Chandler Jones and Whitney Merciless, maybe he just free safety blitz as often as you can and try to fumble sack your way to a win.
He did a nice job drafting in Somsfa, so I think he knows what he's doing as a GM. I think it's just going to be a matter of getting his team there, and it's not going to be there this year. But watch out for that team in a year or two, because I think he's a good drafter, and that's really the name of the game. Unless people like you and Nathan, I'm not saying you're bad drafters, but you trade so often, you're such excellent traders that route works for you. Miami, is this Miami Bob? Is it the A2A Apollo guy?
Yeah, I think so.
He's been in the league for a while. Yeah, Miami Bob, and he's been struggling quite a bit the last few years, I think. Last year he was picking 7th overall in the draft this year. I think he had some higher picks. I think in the fall it might be the same guy at Arizona who's struggling. Now this team's got Eli Manning, a quarterback. That's right, I traded this guy, Ahmad Bradshaw, many years ago, I think. He's got Giovanni Bernard, Ahmad Bradshaw. That's not good for this year. Alshon Jeffrey, Washington, Brent Selleck. Offensive line's got 1-7 at the right guard. He's got 5s otherwise. Too many turnovers, not enough, no running game. It's going to be bad news. It's going to be tough to coach around. And then on the defensive side, 4-3 defense goes 5-4-4-4, 4-5-4 at linebacker. Jesus, 4-0-4 in the short pass zone, 6 at free safety. This team's going to have a hard time winning games.
Yeah, just doesn't have the personnel.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 2-14.
I will match you. Well, I'm gonna go 3-13. So Fluke is going to win.
Yeah, I almost picked 3-13. So right now, I think I have as a total. I think I have the league at about 30 games under 500 right now. So I'm not cynical. All right, but hang in there, Bob. Keep drafting. Eli will have a better card next year. Maybe Renaissance.
Yeah, with Odell Beckham. Maybe he can pick up Odell Beckham to go with Eli, just like in real life.
Yeah, although I think you'd better get somebody else. But, you know what I'm saying, other positions. But he needs a lot of players. It'd be nice to pick up Odell Beckham. I know what you're saying. Minnesota Vikings. Who's the Vikings in this league now? Tony. This is the Andrew Luck team. This should be a quick one. This team was Andrew Luck and nothing else, is what I recall, by Tony's own admission. I think he took over a terrible team. They had to rebuild. He got the first pick on Luck. And let's look here. You got Andrew Luck. He's good. I like him.
You got Gronk.
You got Steven Jackson, Bryce Brown, Gronk. You should probably trade Gronk. DJ Fluker. You got some young players showing up. But that offense is not ready for prime time. And you go to the defensive side of the ball. You go 5-5-5 out of the line. You go 6-5-4-6 at linebacker. 5-4-4-4 in the secondary. So it's not awful. He's got some pieces there, and he's got some names, but no.
This guy could use Frank Gore.
Yeah, make a trade. You're 1, 2, and 3 for the next 4 years. No, I'm teasing you. I'm just teasing Dennis. Please forgive me. But
fine.
I assumed his team was horrible, so I was just like racing through it, but. I mean, still no running game, really.
No, it's a good, solid defense.
Solid defense.
If he had an impact running card.
The secondary is going to undermine. So I'm going to go 4-12.
Wow.
4-12 for Tony.
Okay, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say he's going to go 6-10. 6-10.
That was my first inclination. I'm going 4-12. But it's my goal.
Harsh.
It's my goal to have every coach in NFL Edge leagues completely hate me for my predictions.
Nice.
That I make in the shows, and then the draft review shows.
Hey, don't skip the Jets. You went to Oakland.
I see. I'm sorry. That's because I already played.
Actually, no, New Orleans. You need to go to New Orleans first, then New York.
Okay.
So hit the Saints up.
I thought we were saving the best for last. That's why I skipped the Jets. Oh.
Boom.
No, teasing.
Boom ziggity.
Yes. But yeah, every coach in these leagues is going to hate me. So you love hate. Right. They like the shows and the talking.
Hey.
They hate the comments. Dennis, it's good cop, bad cop. Dennis is a good cop. I'm the bad cop. Dennis is like, hey, maybe this guy's going to be okay. I'm like, you called out a draft pick? Well, I played this team. About 5 hours ago, coached by Scott. So me for champion with Buffalo. It's a great team in Buffalo. Now, this team had Peyton Manning and nothing last year. Traded Peyton Manning to me for a lot of stuff, and he has done an awesome job drafting. This guy...
Yeah, very good.
There was nobody on this team. This was a vacuum. This was a black void in space. And now you got Ryan Tannehill, you got Riley Reif, you got Justin Pugh, you got A.J. Green, DeAndre Hopkins, Zach Ertz, okay? Then you go to defense, you got Sharif Floyd, Robert Quinn, Danny Trevathan, Bruce Irvin, Desmond Trufant, Raheem Moore, Jonathan Banks, and he's got multiple picks next year. He's got Sylvester Williams, so Josh Boyd. He's got a lot of young talent to this team in only 2 drafts, and this team's heading in the right direction. So, I mean, they're not there now. I played them tonight. They're not a good team. But they have Ryan Tannehill's not really that better card. Actually, a better card than someone who likes Russell Wilson might think, because he wants to destroy the trade with a guy like Tannehill. But flat pass is pretty good. Short pass is okay. We're on too many picks. That's a problem. And the bombs are good enough, but it's not a dreadful card.
Yeah, no, it's not a dreadful card. You want to have that flat pass card for the type of offense he's going to need to run. He's going to need to try to get a lot of 6 white dies, run the ball, hit those short gains, and hope for the best. His defense is the thing that's going to kill him is that 0 nose tackle. Man, that's so tough to stop the run. With that type of card. But like you said, he's got young players and that'll improve.
Yeah, but at least his 0 nose tackle is joined by multiple 0 inside linebackers, so he's not alone. I don't know if that works.
Yes, they can have a nice 0 party.
Yes, it's true. The heart of his defense is 0, 0, 0, and he has a corner 0. So that's a problem, right? That's more than a problem. That's a catastrophe. But I liked the way he coached tonight. He gave me a good game. Was tied in the late third quarter, so I'm going to go 14 into it. No, I'm teasing. I'm going to go 6-10 because he was spunky tonight. Feisty tonight. I'm going to give him a better record than you probably would think. I'm going to go 6-10. I think right now I have about 3 teams.
I will go Tom. I'll play the Tom hat this time. I think he's going to struggle. I think he's going to lose a lot of close games because you said he is spunky, but there's just too many holes. I'm going to say 4-12.
Oh my God, Dennis, you're so harsh on all these teams. I can't believe you're picking these guys to have 4 records. What are you doing, Jay?
I don't know. I think you're rubbing off on me.
Jets. Now
Let's see this.
To my one good modern league team in 4 leagues. The SSFA Jets, former champions. And
come on, your Berlin Thunder team's pretty nice.
They are, but they're up and coming. They didn't do it this year. Since it's my team, maybe you should comment on them, or how do you want to do that?
Yeah, so let's take a look at this. So we got an offensive line anchored by Andy Levitre as 5'7" guard. It goes 4-4-0-5-5 run block and 5s and 7 except for the right tackle. So that's not too bad. Peyton Manning has got the premium card in the set. That 11 units correctly double teamed is like, wow, that's fantastic. I kind of wish Strat would do that more often. Not put 6 and 7, but have a little bit higher completion on double teams because there's too many people double teaming in these leagues. But that's a premium card. Long gain on 8 on a deep pass. The flat pass card is a little weak, as we've talked about, but everywhere else that card shines.
Well, it's a little weak for Manning, but it's pretty strong. I mean, so many guys have 7 only incomplete now. To have 5 only incomplete is still pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good card, but I mean, you would expect him to have what is he at, like a 69% completion percentage, 68%.
He only completed 68.3% of his passes for 55 touchdowns and 5,500 yards. Would it be too much to ask for give him a maxed out flat pass wrong? To at least give him Tony Romo on the flat pass. I mean, geez.
Yeah, that's a little crazy. Let's go back to the main screen. Enough with Peyton. He's gonna have a great year. Marshawn Lynch is one of the reasons why he's gonna have a great year. You can't just sit back and call pass all day. I think it's even better than that. Well, I don't know if you can be better than fourth best, but this card will do a lot of good things, not only because he can run. We've got those short gains at 6 and 7. He can hit the big numbers off tackle, and you can still run him off tackle and hope for a short gain. On top of that, he knows he can get you pass. So you get people come up, they'll start guessing run. Tom will attack the flats, and then throw it to Lynch, and he'll get double digits yards on almost every flat pass completion wrong. So I like that card. I'm interested to see if Strat's going to give Marshawn a long pass card. He ran a lot of wheel routes for the Seahawks in the real NFL, and he should have an even better receiving card next year.
And I'll add
you run the two tight end offense.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I was going to add that I
do.
You run the two. Good.
Yeah, you run the two tight end offense, and you have a nice flat pass second tight end in Owen Daniels to go along with Jordan Reed. Kenny Stills he's got that kind of card that doesn't have the hits that you want, but man, that yard is just so sweet. So you want him to be starting if you have him, because you get somebody guessing wrong on Lynch, get a receiver reading, you're gonna, you have a good chance of like pretty much hitting a long gain. Even those 22s and 21s kind of feel like a long game when you see him connect.
Yeah,
and the long pass card is strong too.
I'm not as big a fan of these cards as you guys, as you and Nathan are, but it was the best card I could get. But what's really nice about a card like this, like you said, when you have a running back like Lynch, you don't have to throw bombs to Kenny Stills. You throw short pass wrongs to Kenny Stills, and you get receiver readings. And I mean, that's why throw the bomb to him? Throw the short pass if you think you're going to run
right.
the ball.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a card like this. We had Nate Washington this year and Somifa, and it works really well. So the defense, Tom runs a 4-3. He's got 4-5-5-6 on the line with really nice pass rush and Mario Williams and Sean Phillips. Sean Phillips you got for a steal too. My goodness, 6th-round pick for that guy. You need to pay a little more for that 1 year 4'11" defensive end, in my opinion.
But the guy's career is over.
I know, but that's a nice card. It's a nice piece to add to your championship push. And Mario Williams, man, but he'll be an anchor. The linebackers go 5-5-5, and then you have 2 6s. The 6s are where you want them at corner, so you can mess around with the free safety, bring him up to support the flats, blitz him, double team a strong tight end like say Jimmy Graham, and decent depth too. You got if you have an injury, you still have a 4 corner you can bring in 2 of them. So looking good, Tom. I like the team.
Depth only in the secondary though. In the front 7, my only 4 reserve is a defensive end 4-2, and that hurt me tonight with a couple injuries. I tried to pick up a general linebacker 4, and it didn't work out. And I didn't invest as much in the year as maybe I could have. You know me, I like to keep an eye on the future, and I've got 2 1s and 2 2s next year, and it's an older team, so I kind of wanted to keep that going. But go ahead. So what's your prediction for the Jets?
I'm thinking 4-12. So the coaching is the only problem with this team.
I think the coaching.
No, this team.
I'm going to go 2-14.
This team will be one of the top seeds in the playoffs. I'd say you're probably have a good chance to be number 1, number 2, number 3 seed. I'll go 13-3.
13-3 for this team. I worry about the blocking. I wish I had a little bit better, like a real real maxed out receiver. I'll go.
You play Houston. Let me look at your schedule. Move the card over a little bit. You play Houston, which we've established as one of the top teams. Let's see. Do you play? Who else you got there?
I
you play Seattle. You're in trouble there.
Baltimore. in the first quarter. I play Cincinnati, Green Bay, St. Louis, Houston. Play Seattle late in the season. That should be a cakewalk.
So you avoid Jacksonville. Yeah, no, I 13-3. I think there's only a couple of things that can trip you up.
I want to play one of those.
Maybe 14-2.
I want to play one of those teams with all the fours in the defense.
To
be honest, I was thinking 11-5, but looking at the schedule and looking at these other teams now, I'll go 12-4 for my team this year. You're going 13-3. Okay, move on to Oakland. Is that Nelson? Oh, is it Indianapolis? Might not be Nelson. I thought it was Nelson. Indianapolis was Nelson. Oakland is Ron Dickinson.
Ron, yep.
Ron Dickinson, who I played with in IFL for many years, has come to the minor leagues for the last 6 or 7 years, I think. He's a very good coach. He's a great coach with the old style of football. I think he had to develop a little bit more for the modern game. He's got Big Ben at quarterback. He's got Mark Ingram. James Starks, I think, has a decent card. Doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
He's ranked pretty well?
Yep.
5.5 average.
Yeah, I guess wrong. I guess wrong. You can do some things.
Tackle pretty nice. Okay. You got Vincent Jackson, Rod Streeter, Jason Witten, LaRon McClain as a blocking back, or maybe Jeff Cumberland in a 2 tight end. He's got 3 sevens on the offensive line on the interior, 5s at tackle, good run blocking also, all 5s except for a center 4 and a right guard 6. Big Ben has an interesting card this year. He's my quarterback in SSFA. Big Ben, very good flat pass card. Where the short pass right is, it's not bad, but it's not as good.
It's Matt Staffordish.
Yeah,
a little better than Matt Stafford.
Except it's not as Matt Staffordish, yeah, but not as good in the bomb. The short pass wrong is a little ugly, I feel like, for a guy like Big Ben, for a named quarterback. 1, 4, 10, 14, 18 units to complete on short pass wrong outside of the receiver. For a big name quarterback who completed 64.2, that's a little low. The long pass is okay, but the flat pass is kind of the bread and butter. Ideally, you need some play action to pass downfield with him. You're not going to get it with Mark Ingram and James Sparks too much. A lot of pass blocking, which is good. So you're going to get those dump-offs, and we just established he's good at that, although the backs aren't the best. So kind of a weird offense.
I think it's a good offense. I think he'll move the ball, and he'll get – those cards will burn you a couple times, and he'll get people to call run. So Roethlisberger will do well.
Defense, 4-3 defense, 4-5-5-5 on the line with no pass rush. 6-4-6 at linebacker with Justin Houston at 12 and Terrell Suggs at 12. Only one of those 12s at a time can come up on a reading. Secondary, 4-6-4-4. You know when we're finished, like in a couple of days, I got to look back because there's no way that I have like 4 teams in the playoffs. We're almost done.
Well, we got some strong teams coming up. So
yeah,
you actually have 5 teams in the playoffs right now.
Okay, good. We have some strong teams coming up, including
the Jets.
So defense, not bad against the run. I like the 6s on the outside because they can cover. You can blitz one to cover the 4. You can blitz one to get the 12 in the line. You can. The middle, the look-in pass is all you have to worry about. But the problem with that is if you bring that safety up to cover the look-in, now you got a 4 corner and a 4 strong safety that you got to worry about. You might see, I can see him like blitzing the right linebacker, bringing the free safety up, and then Justin Houston is going to be maybe dropping back to double cover, maybe coming up to the line, maybe staying still. He'll be the man moving all over the place. So I think you can coach around the holes in this defense better than some other defenses that have, this many 4s. It's only 4 4s, but 1 in middle linebacker and 2 in the short pass zone seems like a lot. I'm a big fan of Ron's coaching. I like the defense. I'm going to go higher than I normally would. I'm going to go 10-6 when I was thinking 9-7, just because I keep shorting everyone. I got to make someone go over. I'll go 10-6 for Ron.
Yeah, I'm 10-6 too. I think this is a playoff team. I think he's going to regret not trading for a defensive end and another 5 cornerback. That would really strengthen his playoff run.
Yeah, especially
and maybe a better halfback.
Yeah, you know that I'm a whore for these for corners. I'm a whore for corners. I want guys who can cover. San Diego Superchargers. I don't know how the song goes, but
San Diego Superchargers.
And
Walker.
Oh, wait a minute. Is this coached by half man, half Mankiewicz?
Paul, yeah. Yes,
All right,
it is.
All right, so Paul
Half man, half Mankiewicz.
Paul half man, half Mankiewicz. First of all, Paul might be the best general manager in the business right now. I don't know, but except that he never traded his backup receivers, who were great. But Paul's an excellent drafter. I mean, Paul. I'll tell you this. Paul.
He's very prepared. He's always ready.
This is the thing. I've been playing with this guy for over 10 years in these leagues, and Paul. In recent years, Paul is constantly wasting first-round picks and second-round picks on quarterbacks like Christian Ponder and Jake Locker and Blaine Gabbert, and then you look at his roster, and he's got a great roster. So he's hitting on all these other draft picks that's caused him to be able to absorb what would be, really bad impact picks on other teams. So he's a really good general manager, even though he's been drafting maybe too many quarterbacks, and they have not worked out.
He resisted the temptation, not this draft, but the last draft. He had a chance to take Ryan Tannehill to go along with his cavalcade of jugglers, sword swallowers, and other miscreants he has at quarterback. But he passed on him and took Alfred Morris. So I'm not sure if that was he's going to regret that decision, but it certainly made his team more fun to play, and there's no guarantee that Tannehill will be any better than Locker, although he certainly looks a lot better than Locker right now.
Yeah, he wouldn't trade me Andre Johnson this year. He lets his guys fade off into the sunset. But Paul he's a really good coach. He's got multiple championships across various leagues. He's a really good GM. Maybe he drafts too many quarterbacks. But let's take a look at the team on the field right now. Jake Locker, the quarterback, I think actually has a decent card, better than you might think. 61% completed, just under that. 3 fumbles at 183 attempts, plus he runs a little bit. 2.2 INT. The must run is a 2 to 8 plus 5 or more. It's okay. So 5 best. Oh, come on. Jake Locker has the same. Can I curse? Can I use a real bad curse word on here?
Yep.
Game Locker has the same. Well, I'm not gonna. I talked myself down for the ledge. Jake Locker has the same bleeping flat pass card as Peyton Manning. Jake Locker. Have you watched a football game? How did Jake Locker have the same flat pass card? Peyton Manning completed 68.3% without much of a running game. Jake Locker is 16.7. I mean, come on.
Yep. No, I hear you. I hear you.
Complete. Jake Locker.
Look at on third and 5. I know who I want back there. I want Jake Locker, not Peyton Manning.
Well, they're the same. But I mean, come on. Oh, look, let's admit it. In the NFL, Jake Locker sucks. Okay, we all know that now. I know he's been injured. He's done some things. I wouldn't mind seeing him. I wouldn't mind seeing him on the Jets this year. When you look at the possible quarterback options, he's probably better than some of the other ones. Short pass. Ugly short pass. Wrong card. 3, 7, 12, 16 units of completion. 4, 5, 6, 10, and 12. And the long pass 1, 3, 6, 10. So I mean, I guess they're saying he's gonna suck elsewhere, so you got to throw flat. I don't know. Anyway, that's not a very good card, but at least it doesn't get picked off. You can do hit some completions. Tim had success with it in Autumn Wind. He's trying to beat you to go to the Super Bowl. Autumn AFC Championship game with Jake Locker quarterback.
I respect that card.
I don't know if you caught it.
I respect that card.
I don't know if you caught it at the end of my broadcast of your game, but I am picking Tim.
Yes, I heard you pick the upset.
I picked him.
I know.
All right. Running game. Alfred Morris is the running back. Very fine NFL back. Interesting card. No really not too much in the way of short gains. Gets you positive yardage a lot.
Chunky.
Chunky, but also has pretty solid yardage. I'm wrong. Just no short gains. Where does Ed rank him?
15th.
15th. Okay. I think people are not going to get a lot of run with this card, so he'll probably do well, which guys like this always do in these leagues. Not as good a receivers you like with their hands. Brandon Marshall and Andre Johnson. There's a league rule. There's actually an online Strat football rule that Paul Mankiewicz is not allowed to field a team unless it has multiple max receivers. So that's just the way it goes. Kobe Fleener is a tight end. Bruce Michael, blocker back. Jermichael Finley, don't go to sleep on Jermichael Finley in the 2 tight end set. Cannot go deep at all, but his flat short pass It's kind of vintage, number 2 tight end style, Owen Daniels-ish. And I tried to pick him up in another league, and the guy wouldn't trade him to me. I think that was Wayne in the fall, perhaps, or one of his leagues. But he can help out as a second tight end. 4-3 defense for half man, half Mankiewicz. And it is 5-5-6-6. You like those names on the right side of the defense, Dennis? Brandon Mebe.
Amazing.
Right?
I didn't expect. Yeah.
5-5-6-6. 6-4-4 at linebacker. 6-5 secondary. 6-5 safeties. Extra defensive back 5. So I love the secondary.
It's gonna allow him to call pass a lot and just hope his D cards stop the run, which we've seen in what was the Baltimore Colts in Autumn Wind with all those 5s and 6s up front. It shows you it's so hard to run against them. Although we are using the average card, not the excellent card, so that makes a difference.
That makes a huge difference. But also, I'm with the secondary and with that line, he can kind of stand around and move Reggie Nelson, the free safety, up into looking or the right flat, and play some good defense. Dump offs will be a source of concern because there's no pass rush outside of Ahmad Brooks, outside linebacker. So it's the type of defense that I think regular season against regular teams will do well. You get in the playoffs, you probably have some problems. Under a lesser coach, I'd expect lesser wins naturally. But I have a lot of respect for Paul. I've held him in high esteem as a coach. I wish the offensive line. Geez, look at the offensive line. The 2 zeros run blocking. But run blocking is probably a little overrated. So I'm going to give Paul 10-6 when I was going to go 9-7. Trying to be generous.
Okay, so you got him in the playoffs?
Yeah. I'm at 10-6 for the Chargers. I was going to go 9-7, but I'm going to go 10-6. The coaching act.
I'm going to go 8-8. I think Paul's it does one way, but the dump offs are a problem, and Locker is going to be a problem. So, yeah, I could see him overachieving. I could see him winning 10 games, but I'm going to go 8-8. He'll be able to have him in the playoffs.
Right,
mix it up a little bit.
Paul, week 5, Seattle at San Diego. You might want to just circle that one for the.
Let's schedule that now, Paul.
They play me in
our usual Friday morning.
You can take it easy on me because I picked you for the playoffs, so you can be happy with me. San Francisco 49ers. Who is the guy that runs that team? I always forget. Has he been around for a while? He's
been around. He's the founding father of this league. So.
All right, I'm going to go 16-0.
Who's he got going on?
He's got
Jason Campbell's the quarterback. Wow.
Yeah, well,
Colin Kaepernick. I thought Ed was a closet 49er fan, and he's benching Cap.
Well, Ed wants to win, so I think like me, he plays the guy that he thinks will help him win, not necessarily the guys that wear the colors of the Seattle. I mean, his favorite team. But Campbell, I think Ed has him pretty high in the quarterback list, like definitely top 20. Ed's run into a problem in his leagues that he doesn't have a quarterback in the last couple of years, and he's fallen off into hard times, which is 9-7 for a lot of teams. He's got Jason Campbell's another 15 quarterback.
Jason Campbell 15.
Must running. Look at this. 2-9 is 5. 2-10 is 4 yards or more. You don't see that from anybody. What are his rushing stats like? 7.6 average. Well, Russell Wilson.
Wow.
Russell Wilson is have a great card next year. Ed. Now, I don't want to start any rumors, but Ed, what has Ed been smoking? This card is not my cup of tea. Number 15 in the set, really? This card, 2-7 incomplete and flat pass wrong. All you get is 6 and 7 short pass right. The must run is pretty good. It's on a 9. I can't go deep, really.
Ed weighs heavily the interception percentage. Look at that. Guessed right. 2-3. Instead of because half the time you're rolling on the defensive card, so maybe you'll pick up completions there, but that when you land on that 11 and it's 2 through 10 like Carson Palmer, you're screwed. 2 and 3, you can get away with it.
I understand that. I'm not sure if a long-term successful offensive strategy is to hope that my passing game succeeds on the defense's card. Yeah, you do get and you do get the receiver ratings and all that, and I need to factor the yards. Look, and Ed's possibly the best coach in the online community. We know he's a math wizard. So my spreadsheets are way behind his. So the interception he does factor in gravely, but I think sometimes it comes a point where I know the turnover is super low, but when the completions are also super low, that's a problem. You'd almost rather have more turnovers so you can move the ball a little bit. I mean, how bad is Kaepernick? Is he dreadful?
He's really bad. Really bad. Yeah.
15.4.
Like a 50.
Yeah, he's not even that great a runner.
15.
2.85 yards or more, only 2 to 4 over. Yeah, you can throw a short pass right on it. Oh, look at the flat pass. 3, 6, and 7, incomplete and wrong. Good luck with that. You're blitzing and double teaming to your heart's content. He's got Bilal Powell. This is like 2 or 3 years now that Sumifa and SSFA Ed's had like substandard quarterbacks and substandard running backs, and you've seen the drop-offs. His teams tend to be in the 9 and 7 range now, when they used to be much better than that when he had better QB RB combos, and he hasn't won a championship in a while, I don't think. Bilal Powell, Ray Rice.
Well, let me jump in real quick on that. The problem that with Ed is that he's so good at coaching that he never lets his team go 2-14 or 4-12 or 6-10, even when he has that type of talent. So he overcoaches them. He keeps drafting lower, and he doesn't get the impact players that he needs to rebuild. He's like a stud quarterback that's going to be available at 18th, 19th.
Yeah, but I don't know, you build a strong enough roster, and you always go for the future. Then you make a deal to trade up when you need to. I think you can do that.
Yeah, he doesn't want to trade up though either.
Well, you need a quarterback sooner or later.
Guys.
Well, he did.
That's what I'm saying. That's the problem.
He may have traded up for Kaepernick to get that pick, and then
Kaepernick was the second round pick, lower into the draft.
No. This is
he went second round. He went second round in Autumn Wind, and I think he went the bottom of the first round in Somifa.
No, so Mifa, he definitely was late second round. TJ got him. SSFA, okay. I'm telling you, SSFA, he went like number 1 or number 2 overall because.
Oh, that's right. League. Yes, you're right.
And I think Ed may have traded up to get him, and then it didn't work out. I don't recall. He's got Malcolm Floyd, Cecil Shorts, Delanie Walker. This is a pretty terrible offense.
Yeah.
And I know how good a coach it is, but in someone else's hands, I'm thinking 2 wins. This is a bad offense.
Defense.
So Jason Campbell with plenty of time to throw in his incompletions.
Let's go to defense. It's got to be better than this.
5. Dan Williams is a true nose tackle. 5. Ed is a defensive wizard. That's his side of the ball. 5-5-5 on the defensive front. 4-5-6-4 the linebackers. 4-5 a corner. 4-4 safety. Ed, you have a terrible team. This team is terrible.
Has he ever not made the playoffs though? Yeah, but has he ever not made the playoffs?
I don't know.
In one of the leagues. Has it ever happened?
In SSFA, he has made the playoffs every year. I think in SOMIFA in Somifa, I think he's missed it once or possibly twice. But
this team is threatening to miss the playoffs.
This team is terrible. This team sucks.
But it's gonna watch. It's gonna be 9-7.
I'm going to pick, you know what? Look, Ed is a great coach. He's done great things. I've got nothing but respect for him. I'm going to pick 6-10. The commissioner. He's going to hate me. He's going to go 9-7. He's going to go 9-7. I'm going to go 15-1, and he's going to beat me 40-17 in the playoffs. Bilal Powell.
Yeah, he's not in your schedule in the regular season.
Thank God. I go 6-10.
I play in the last game of the season, so.
I should go 7-9 because there's a lot of bad teams this year, but I'm going to go 6-10. What do you say?
I say 9-7, and he's going to make the playoffs.
You're a smart man. You want to
I don't know how. I don't know why, but he's going to do it.
Trying to get Ed not to overturn those trades on the TRC. I think that's what you're trying to curry favor with that.
It's just math. It's just math. How many times has he not made it? This is going to be his worst ever.
Ed has been so good for so long, and has won so many games that I don't mind that I don't mind being bluntly and telling him that his team is really bad because he's always been so good, you know. So, but I bet he's fuming.
Well, all I know is that 6-10. I don't see it. I don't think. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
If he's listening right now, He is not enjoying the cups of tea that I am pouring for him with my prediction.
Give him some honey with that tea. Give him some sugar with that tea.
Yeah, so I now have, this is going to be the smallest playoff field in league history. Seattle Seahawks, now coached by Dennis Crowley, my co-host. Now let me see. Who is the quarterback on this team? It's Russell Wilson. What a surprise.
Russell, last name Wilson.
I never would have thought that Russell Wilson would be on this team. Let's see. So we got Russell Wilson, a quarterback, so the team's going to have to overcome his deficiencies.
Sometimes I feel that way. Sometimes I feel like my teams could do a lot better if I wasn't so infatuated with one Russell Carrington Wilson.
Well, what about if he had a great running game and an awesome defense? How do you think he would do then?
Playoff caliber team, babe.
Because that's what he has in the NFL. We can't go into NFL stuff with Russell Wilson. We'll be here all night. And I do agree with you about this. I think Russell will have a great card next year. Possibly a really great card that'll really be top 5, 6, possibly. Flat pass wrong, 4-5 incomplete. Short pass, I kind of like his card. He got more yardage than your average guy. 1, 5, 11, 15, 18, 19 short pass wrong completions. Better than Big Ben by 1, but a little bit on the positive side. The short pass right is much better than it looks. It looks good, but he's got 11 units of completion, but all that must run 3 to 7, and 2 to 8 is 4 yards or more. Whenever you have a good running quarterback, it is imperative that you have good pass blocking. You got a 7 at left tackle. I should have picked up that guy. I would have gone 7-7 on the left side. I should have picked him up. I didn't. And you go 5s at center left guard. That's a real weakness on my team is the pass blocking. And 5-4 on the right side. 6 in the center position. You got Frank Gore. I'm not in love with this Frank Gore card this year. You and I talked about a similar card last year in a trade. I don't know. I don't know what I expect out of these running backs. I feel like I'm never in love with any of their cards unless they're really, really top notch. But that card does well.
Gore's really good. Gore's really good guest right, and he does have the big hits off tackle and linebacker on the edges.
Monty got a decent card for backup for carries. Roddy White, Michael Floyd, good receivers. Luke Wilson. I feel with him. It's not a bad offense, but I think you're one of the best offensive coaches around. It seems like you always put up a lot of points in all these leagues, so I got to take that into account. Defensive side of the ball, 4-6-4. I don't mind that as much because you get the big stud 6 in the middle. 6-6-0-5, hiding the old 0. The old classic 3-4 inside linebacker, second guy sucks routine. Good pass rush there. Inside linebacker 8, you like that because he can blitz without having to worry about covering anybody. 5-4 at corner. 4-6 at safety. Interesting team. Russell Wilson, Frank Gore, 6 nose tackle, good linebackers. You're on a roll. You're doing well. You're winning a lot of games. So I got to pick the team to do well. I'm going to overachieve because you've been doing really well lately, and I'm going to go 12-4 with your team. Other coaches that would not pick as many wins. What do you see for your own team?
I think that's doable. I think 11 wins maybe more likely, but I can see 12 wins. I could see 9 wins if I really struggle. But I think I'll make the playoffs. I think I'll be 11, 12 win team.
Grudge match, week 13.
Take your chances.
Grudge match, week 13 in the Meadowlands. Who's going to win, Seahawks or Jets? Who's going to win, Seahawks or Jets?
I have the opening line as Jets -3. So
who's going to win? Who's going to win?
I'm going to win.
Okay. See, this posting comes into play. I didn't say anything about my team winning, and I got to build some bulletin board material. The St. Louis Rams, coached by Nathan Baylor. It makes I don't know. I feel like Nathan has slacked off in the GMing the last year or so. He used to make about 47 trades in off-season. Now he's toned it down. What do you think about that?
I think Nathan's just busy.
Yeah, Trader used to be Trader Nathan. Now he's more like whatever.
Yeah, he's just busy, and he's got the pieces in place here for a decent team. Josh McCown.
I hate Josh McCown. I hate him. He threw for 4,000 yards and Samifa and Andrew
Fred Jackson. Oof, this is a good team.
Yeah, Josh.
This is a good offensive team. My goodness, look at this.
Get your attention in a hurry. The other back is Donald Brown. He's got Donald Brown. So Fred Jackson and Donald Brown is good. Josh
Dustin
McCown got a
Hunter?
real good card. Deshaun Jackson,
Man.
Jordy Nelson, Vernie Davis, Gordon Jammer is the second tight end. Sevens on the left
Well,
side
this
of the
might be the best
line.
team in the league. This is the best offense in the league we've seen so far.
Indeed. 4-3 defense goes 5-5-4-4. 6-5-5 at linebacker. Oops, what did I just do? Click the wrong thing. 6-5-5 at linebacker. 5-4 corners. 4-5 safety. And Nathan can coach. When Nathan has a good offense, he really goes to town. So he's one of the better offensive coaches. He knows how to. Not everyone can take advantage. Some people say, "Oh, what does it mean? If I had a good quarterback and a good running back, if I had this offense, I would do well." Not everyone is cut out to average 35 points a game. It just doesn't happen. I see it over time and time again. He is. When he has the explosive offense, he takes advantage of it. So consequently, I think this team is the best team in the league we've seen so far. I think that Nathan's going to do very well with them. I'm going to pick a 12-4 regular season, but this would be my pick for Super Bowl champion, or at least to make this.
Yeah, I'll go 14-2, and I agree with you. This is a good team.
So now we're up to the last team. So this is not part one, but part one of one. I didn't watch Walking Dead tonight. I did tape it, so don't tell me what happens. Oh no, Rick was killed.
I'm a season behind right now. So.
Okay, I won't tell you about what happens at the end of last season then. Actually, I will. No.
Okay, good.
Washington, that's a good coach. Washington. This is the guy that you introduced to the Trade Review Committee. Keith Mowbray, whose name I recognize. I know I played with this guy like 8 to 10 years ago somewhere.
He's in my draft league. He's in SSFA. He's in a couple other leagues too. Good coach, good guy. I think he'll do well.
Philip Rivers is a great card. I love Philip Rivers' card.
Does he have a great card? Let's look at it.
Yeah, come on, look at that. Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah.
69.5 completed the Mike McCoy comeback year. Maxed on a flat, including the interception split. So you don't even get that.
Great.
Other guys have the 3 to 7. He's got the 5-6. Other guys have the 4 to 7. He has the 5-6-7 plus. Other guys have the 3 to 7. He's like in that category, kind of slightly better because the 10 is better than a 4. No, those are even. Anyway, he's got a great flat pass card.
This is the kind of flat pass.
He's got a great short pass card.
This is the kind of flat pass card that you want for Peyton, right? This is Peyton's flat pass card. If you could move it over.
Certainly, absolutely. And he's got a very fine short pass card. He can go deep, and this is a great card. Come on, I love this Philip Rivers card.
Yep. Fantastic.
D'Angelo Williams is an acceptable back. LeGarrette Blount is also acceptable.
No, LeGarrette Blount is excellent. Look at his card.
Excellent.
This card look at this card with Philip Rivers. It's a sneaky good card.
I think sneaky good, but I wouldn't say excellent. I think the line look is pretty nice. End run better than you think. The right is not good, and the off tackle. I wish.
How many carries does he have?
About 150.
I'd be starting him.
He had 150.
Yeah, I'd be starting him
over D'Angelo Williams. I think D'Angelo's got a much more solid card with. He's got a couple of short gains in the middle. Doesn't have much on the edges. He's much better on right, but you're not going to get as many run calls with Philip Rivers at the helm. NFL Ed's got Blount ranked number 14 and Williams ranked number 22, so he agrees with you.
It's a good card, but either way, it's a good offense. Let's check his defense out because I gotta go to bed.
All right, he's got two good backs. He's got Leo Jones and Brian Hartline, Martellus Bennett, and 3-4 defense. Pretty good line, 2 sevens there. He goes 4. That's a true nose tackle. 4-5-6 on the line. 5-5-6-4 at outside linebacker. 6-5 at corner. 4-4 safety. This is a very solid team. Now this guy is a pretty good coach. You're telling me?
Yeah, he's good. I think he's a playoff team.
I'm gonna go 12-4. Based on you telling me,
I'm gonna go 10-6.
I like Philip.
I'm gonna go 10-6.
I like the offense. Defense is pretty strong. 12-4, and that's our recap. Dennis is gonna sign off. I might say a few words after you sign off, a little monologue like I like to do. Tell me now.
Okay,
How many teams did I put? How many teams did I put the players? I'm gonna guess that I put 8 teams in.
You put 10. So you have Atlanta, Cincinnati, Houston, Jacksonville, New York, Oakland, San Diego, Seattle, St. Louis, and Washington. You're more generous than you thought.
And how many teams do you have in there?
11. So I have the same teams that you do, but I also added San Francisco.
And you knocked off the Bears earlier. Okay.
And
All right, Dennis,
yeah,
you want to say goodbye, and then I'll say bad things about. and then I'll continue the broadcast without you.
All right, sounds good. Take care, and I'm looking for you. Coming for you, Tom. Week whatever that is. You're going down.
All right, week 13. We'll see about that. Now I'm geeked up for the game.
Okay, take care.
Good night, Dennis.
Okay, bye.
All right, guys, that was Dennis Crowley. As we are wrapping up the SSFA season preview show, I think we've been with you for a very long time. There should be like a clock. I mean, there's a clock. I can see it's 4 o'clock on the East Coast where I live, so I'm a little crazy, but don't mind me. But it should tell me like how long we've been broadcasting. Now, I'm making a lot of demands on what is completely free technology. We use Google Hangouts. This broadcast brought to you by the good folks at Google Hangouts. And I don't have the light on in my room. I'm a quadriplegic. I use a wheelchair for those who don't know. I control the computer without using my hands, and I'm in bed. So all you're seeing is a reflection on the top of my glasses, and I bet that's freaking you out right now. I'm like some kind of sea monster hiding in the dark. So that was the SSFA preview show. Dennis and I both played our season openers tonight. We both won by the same score, 34-24. I defeated a rebuilding New Orleans team that was pretty tough. We were tied at 24 late third quarter, and Dennis beat, I think, Cleveland by the same score. Dennis had a big league and then came back in that game. SSFA is an excellent league. Now, when we do these, when I do a preview, I try and give you my honest opinion. I'm not trying to insult anybody. I'm not trying to offend anybody. But we do have fun with this. We're doing it like it's a talk radio show. We're doing it like it's regular NFL type of talk. So don't get offended, please, too much. But again, you can always circle the calendar and lord over me when you get a victory if I was too hard on your team. Look, these teams go up and down. You don't have a good quarterback for a while. You're going to lose some games. SSFA, it's harder, I think, to get a good long-term quarterback because it's a spring league. Usually by the end of a guy's second NFL season nowadays, he has shown you something or he has not shown you enough. And if he's shown you something, he's going to get drafted extremely highly. So you need to have a real high pick at the right time to get these guys. Just like the Colts in the NFL, they have Peyton Manning. Manning gets hurt. They win one game. They get Andrew Luck. I mean, if that was a different year, they don't get a top quarterback there, and they're mired in misery perhaps. But I love the SSFA. I really like it a lot. I think because that's the only league that I'm in where I draft, the only modern league I'm in where I drafted the team entirely from scratch. And I've always kind of focused on the future and competed for the now. By just focusing on the future and always having a good team that way, because you have 2 years of information on these players when you draft in a spring league, it's just a lot easier. I'm always amazed how many guys still go for the short-term card when there's guys who are clearly established future starters. You draft enough of those guys, you have depth, and you can trade for really good players instead of spending high picks on one-year guys, although those can work out, like I'm sure Nathan with Josh McCown. Josh McCown is winning Super Bowls all over the place right now in the Strat community. So I'll be happy when he disappears because I kind of hate that. It's all right. You spend a high pick on the guy, but, I'd rather see, the Bradys and the Mannings and those types of guys winning the Super Bowls. So I'm going to sign off for now. I hope you enjoy your SSFA season. Hope you enjoyed our broadcast. Have a good night. Bye-bye.